right, good evening and welcome to the December 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. This meeting is being held virtually via the Zoom video conference and is also being broadcast by FCTV on cable channel 9. As this meeting is being recorded by Zoom and broadcast by FCTV, please be cognizant of what you say, how you say it, and what can be seen and heard in your background. We have a full complement tonight. Like I said, Courtney's going to be a few minutes late, but thank you all for your dedication. I'd like to remind the commissioners that for commenting, I will call on each of you in turn, so please refrain from speaking over each other. Also, all votes are done by roll call, so when I call your name, please state your name and your vote for the record, even if you've made the motion or seconded. To our public attendees, at any time during this meeting, you may enter any comment or questions via the chat function. At the appropriate time, they will be read into the record. If as an attendee you'd like to participate in a particular hearing, let us know via the chat function. Then at the appropriate time, you will be promoted into the hearing as a participant. When you are selected, you must have your video enabled. Be succinct, respectful of others. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes each. Regarding IDAs, under a request for determination of applicability, the applicant is asking the commission to determine if the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and/or the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw apply to their proposed project. A negative determination is that the provision of the Act and/or the bylaw do not apply. Therefore, the project may proceed as proposed. A positive determination means the provision of the Act and/or the bylaws do, in fact, apply and/or may require some conditions. Therefore, the project would require a notice of intent application. So, as an applicant, you want to hear a negative determination. For the benefit of anybody waiting for a particular hearing tonight, and so that you're not waiting unnecessarily, the following hearings are expected to be continued. Falmouth Port Condo Owners Association, KFN Hillside Nominee Trust at 24 Willis Lane, 20 Nichols Road, East Falmouth. And also there's a request for continuance under an amendment to existing orders of conditions, and that is 151 T-Ticket Path. So we will not be hearing those tonight, and they will be continued to a future date. All right. So first up on the agenda is to vote the minutes of November 12th, 2025. Anyone have a chance to read them?
I did, Mr. Chairman. I move your approval. Patton.
Driscoll, second.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ron Driscoll. Any additions, any other comments on the minutes of November 12th? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Ron.
Bowman, aye.
Oh, I mean, okay. Ronnie.
Driscoll, aye. Sorry. I was expecting.
I know. Courtney wasn't here and I skipped Steve.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I was out of space.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Thank you. Dave.
Kent, aye.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. All right, that's unanimous. The next thing on the agenda here is the November 17th, 2025 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move the approval of those minutes. Patton.
Driscoll, second.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ron. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of November 17th, 2025. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Okay, hearing none, I will call the roll. Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie. Your microphone. Give me a thumbs up. Ronnie. Thank you. Dave?
Kent, I.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim?
Rath, I.
And Robbins is aye, so that's unanimous on accepting the November 17th minutes. Okay, first up is a request for a continuance for request for a continuance for a determination of applicability. Andrea Montoni, 103 Racing Beach Ave, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install mitigation and restoration plantings in accordance with Mass DEP number 253247. Alyssa?
The applicant has requested a continuance until December 17th.
Somebody move that?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Steve.
Driscoll second.
Thank you, Ron. So we have a motion, a second, to continue 103 Racing Beach Ave to December 17th. I will call, any comments or questions on that? Okay, hearing none, I will call a roll. Steve?
Steve's
Ron. I saw him. Ron Driscoll?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, I.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
And Jim?
Rath, I.
And Robbins is an aye. It's unanimous to continue to December 17th. Okay, request for a continuance under a notice of intent. And the first one up here is Falmouth Port condominium owners care of Rudy Hunter, Falmouth Port Drive, across from units 278 through 292, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to raise and regrade the roadway and install drainage improvement. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this one is continued, was the 17th? Yeah, December 17th.
Can I get you?
Driscoll, so moved.
Thank you, Ron. How about a second from Dave Kent?
Oh, I second it.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion and a second to continue until, what would we say the date is on that?
17th.
That's the 17th. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call a roll. Steve?
Mr. Chairman, I have to abstain.
Oh, okay, no problem. And Ron Driscoll,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Kent, I.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Jim.
Rath, I.
And Robbins is an aye to continue to Falmouth Port till the 17th. Okay, next up is the next request for a continuance is Fahad Naji, KFN Hillside Nominee Trust, 24 Willis Lane, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to conduct dune and beach nourishment. Again,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until December 10th.
So moved, Driscoll.
thank you, Ron.
Kent, second.
Thank you, Dave. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? On 24 Willis Lane, hearing none, I will call a roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron Driscoll?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, I.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
And Jim?
McGrath, I.
And Rob is an aye, so that's the 17th. Next up is Karen Fortune. Nichols Road, East Falmouth, Mass. Permission to reinstall a 4 fiber roll array and to install restoration planting. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until December 10th.
So moved, Driscoll.
Thank you, Ron.
Kent, second.
Thank you, Dave. So we have a motion and a second to continue to the 10th on 20 Nichols Road. Any other comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, I will call a roll. Steve?
Patton, I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Holman, I.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye, so that's unanimous to continue 20 Nichols Road till the 10th. Request for a continuance to amend an existing order of conditions. Constance, Ryan, 151 T-Ticket Path, Falmouth, requested to amend the order of conditions for MASH DEP number 254780 to redesign the proposed revetment extension and core fiber roll array. Jen,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until December 10th.
So moved, Driscoll.
Kent, second.
thanks, Dave. We have a motion, a second, to continue this order of conditions to 10. All right, so I'll go ahead and call a roll. Steve,
Patton, I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Holman, I.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye, unanimous to continue. Okay, request for determination of applicability. Andrea Montoni, 103. This one has been already continued. Sorry about that. Next is Paul Pietriewicz. I hope I got that right. Tram Construction, 88 Eel River Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to construct a garage dormer. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource areas are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
So move, Patton.
Thank you, Steve.
Driscoll, second.
Thank you, Ron. So we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation on 88 Eel River Road. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Steve,
Patton, I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Holman, I.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye, unanimous to accept staff's recommendation. All right. This Cronin Realty Trust, 23 North Bonds Pond Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install restoration plantings in accordance with Mass DEP 25-646. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a +4 under the state and a +5 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and I can elaborate.
Please do.
So this project came before us during a COC request. This is a 40-year-old order that the property owner was trying to close out in order to sell. In evaluating the property, we were able to close one order. This one was left open as part of the required buffer is missing. At some point, it was removed, and what is existing has been cut heavily over the years. There's a lot of sucker growth on the existing trees there that we think once were healthy, mature canopy trees. So part of the reason this property didn't receive compliance is that needs to be restored. The staff recommended in July that the representatives file a notice of intent. That's typically how you review restoration projects. There are a couple other smaller issues on the property, such as some unpermitted tree removal. We would like to see some of the trees go back. A couple other small things, such as drainage on the property that needs to be addressed, in an area of salt marsh that had part of the float stored on it. So we're hoping to observe it rebounding. If it doesn't, that area would need to be restored. At this time, an RDA has been filed. Considering the scope of work and the decision-making of this board in the past, the staff is recommending a positive. We do have representatives of the project here tonight. The staff's recommendation at this point would be to listen to their brief presentation, continue the hearing so we can send you over all of the application materials, receive permission for you all to visit the site, and regroup in a week or two to give your decision.
Okay.
Thank you.
See Mr. Wall there. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Brian.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Brian Wall for the applicant, Cronin Realty Trust, owner of the property at 23 North Bournes Pond Road. Also with me tonight is Lynn Hamlin from Hamlin Consulting. I can't see if she's been promoted or not, but Lynn is here to also address the RDA.
There's a message there, Jen.
No, I know. I just promoted her, Brian and Russ.
Okay, thank you. And Mr.
No
Chairman, I
problem.
know this is an RDA, so I'm not going to be lengthy. If I could just have a minute or two to explain the background. So on behalf of the applicant, Lynn and I have filed an RDA proposing to plant 610 square feet of native trees and shrubs. The planting will take place within land subject to coastal storm flowage, the buffer zone to a coastal bank, and the buffer zone to salt marsh. By way of background, I think it's important for the commission to understand where we're coming from. The property at issue was owned by Neil and Kathleen Cronin. Mr. Cronin passed away in 2016, and Mrs. Cronin passed away in October of 2024. So the property is in a trust, but essentially it's the heirs of Mr. and Mrs. Cronin that have now taken over the property. And what they are doing is they're trying to sell the house, and they currently have a buyer that's been waiting for this to be resolved. But when the property was put on the market and counsel was hired, it was discovered, as Alyssa said in her presentation, that there were several open orders of conditions, most of them dating back, or all of them dating back to the 1980s. Two of those have been resolved. I've only been involved rather recently, but Ms. Hamlin has been representing the applicant. And the issues with two of the orders we understand have been resolved, but there remains an issue with obtaining compliance with the third order, which dates back to 1984. This particular order has a condition that requires there to be a 25-foot naturally vegetated buffer extending landward from the 3-foot contour, which I think is the top of the coastal bank. As Alyssa said, sometime since 1984, a 610 square foot area in the 25-foot buffer was altered. And this area now needs to be planted in order for the property owner to obtain compliance. And hence, that's why we're before you with this RDA. This RDA is seeking permission or a determination of non-applicability in order to proceed with planting the 610 square feet. Lynn Hamlin has provided a plan proposing the planting, which I can put up on the screen if the commission would like me to do that. We felt that the RDA was an appropriate way to move forward because of the de minimis nature of what we're seeking to do, and also because it's beneficial to the family in the sense that it's the quickest and also most economical way to obtain this needed permission. And then once the planting is done, we can come back and request compliance. And hence we think there's a -2 is warranted. That's not just my opinion. I have submitted a letter to the commission explaining the basis of our request. So under the state regulations, planting native species in the buffer zone is considered to be what's called a, quote, minor activity that is not subject to regulation. So no permit whatsoever is needed for this under the act. And similarly, under Falmouth regulations, planting in the buffer zone is considered to be, quote, a moderate activity that is presumed not likely to have a significant or cumulative effect on the resource areas. So again, given the de minimis nature of what we're seeking to do, given the way that this is treated under the regulations, and given that the family is trying to sell this house to a buyer that's waiting for this to be resolved, we thought this was an appropriate way to go forward. And we're asking the commission to make a negative determination. We have discussed this with staff. We've reviewed the staff report, and we are aware, as Alyssa said, that staff is recommending a notice of intent. And we just have a respectful disagreement. We don't think a full notice of intent is necessary to plant 610 square feet. Staff suggests that planting, that an NOI is needed so that there can be conditions regarding the planting. Again, we just respectfully disagree given the small nature of the activity proposed. There's also a suggestion that there should be a condition against unpermitted cutting on the bank and in the buffer zone. But again, I would suggest to the commission that the background regulations already prohibit that. This is all a no disturb zone A, so no cutting is permitted to begin with. So given these circumstances, and given that we're simply trying to help this family sell this house, we're asking the commission to consider giving a -2 on this RDA. Lynn is here on the screen. She can discuss the planting plan itself and answer any of the questions the commission may have regarding the details.
Okay. Lynn, you've got the floor.
You're muted, Lynn.
Sorry, Lynn has raced from the Harwich Conservation Commission to get on screen, so she only arrived home a few minutes before. There she goes.
There we go. Sorry, you're one of the few commissions that still do Zoom. I'm out of practice. Okay, Lynn Hamlin from Hamlin Consulting. I'll be brief. I just wanted to go over the planting plan with you. So as directed by your staff, I went to the site and inventoried the woody vegetation that is currently growing on the coastal bank and in the undisturbed buffer. And there's quite a lot of species out there. I would respectfully disagree with the characterization of the age of the trees that are out there, and the cutting. None of the trunk sizes are substantial. They're relatively small, which would indicate to me that they're fairly young vegetation. Out there are majority of oak trees, and what will comprise the overstory are 8 white oaks, 3 black oaks, and 5 scarlet oaks. There's also a couple of black cherries that, allowed to grow to their full maturity, will create a substantial overstory. The substory will be comprised of an existing very robust scrub oak community and a service berry. There's also a cedar tree out there, 1 red cedar tree. So I took that existing inventory, and my plan strategy was to augment it to create diversity. So the tree species I added were additional red cedars, which are very appropriate for the area, to add more evergreen component to it, and then 31 different native species of shrubs. I know that the staff has a problem with a couple of my species. That can be done or revised with consultation with the staff. I chose species I thought was appropriate, but I'm not stuck on them. If staff prefers other species, that's fine with me. All work is to be done by hand. We're stating that they can mobilize the material to the site with a small skid steer, but the actual digging is to be done by hand. What's out there now is Cape Cod lawn, but I think that's a very generous term. It's barely even Cape Cod lawn. So what we would do is remove the grass around each individual planting and allow the grass to grow between them. I try to put things in clusters, so between the clusters would allow that natural vegetation to grow undisturbed. It would be necessary to install some temporary irrigation to ensure that these shrub species and tree species get established. And then my note regarding invasive species removal, that is a boilerplate note. I put it on my vegetation plans. It's more appropriate for sites that are denuded or scraped clean, and then you put the native vegetation on top. I don't anticipate much incursion of invasive species because it's all pretty well vegetated. Let's see. I think that's it. I'll try to keep it short or answer some questions if you have them.
Hey, do you have a plan with you, Lynn, you could put up on the screen there?
I think Brian's probably.
I do have it, Mr. Chairman. With your permission, if I could share my screen.
Sure.
Did I succeed in getting that up?
You did.
Yes, you did, Brian.
Good.
Yeah,
A lot of practice.
I think it's missing some notes, but that's the basic.
Oh, it's because I've zoomed in. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I can.
No, that's probably up. There you go.
Okay.
That's better.
Let me know if I can help orientate anybody to this plan.
Okay. So
again, this is the first time the commission's seeing this. They don't really know what the property looks like to be oriented exactly. But from what you can see there, the colored dots are the proposed plantings, and the water is to the bottom of the plan.
okay.
I had included individual packets for each commission member when I filed this. Apparently they didn't get them.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think-
that's not how we process the RDAs. We had mentioned that to Brian the other day. These are all reviewed at the staff level. So they were not distributed.
They will be distributed now, Lynn, when the board, we are going to continue this. The board is going to have the opportunity to go out there and do a full review like they do notice of intents. And then, as Alyssa said, we'll regroup in about a week or two and the commission can render their decision. If the commission is all set, Lynn, can you stop sharing?
I'm not sharing.
That's me.
Oh, Brian,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I will do that.
board members all set? All of,
I have a question.
good.
I have a question.
Thank you, Dave. Go ahead.
I don't see the home or the building on that plan.
It's significantly far away. We can include it. I
Well,
was
it's-
just zoomed in
oh.
on it. Actually, I submitted a site plan, maybe also. So I gave, as part of my application, a full site plan, which shows the whole property, the building, the dock, everything. And then this was just a supplemental plan to that.
Okay, I see.
So you could focus in on this and I didn't have to make it tiny.
I see.
Like,
Thanks.
like Alyssa says, Dave, she normally don't give those out, so
Okay.
Yeah.
an RDA. Yes, Jen, I see you. Yep.
Just a few points to the commission. The trees that are out there have been, as Alyssa stated, very heavily managed. They are not going to grow up into their full and mature form. They are going to grow up into big, large shrubs because they've got multiple leaders and sprouts coming out of the trunk. If the board approves this, we cannot condition it. It does not address the damage to the salt marsh for a float that's been installed, and it also does not address the trees that were removed. And they were. The trees that are there, they may be young because the trees that were removed, they were removed. The trees would be much older and much larger had they not been removed. You can clearly see the area was forested in an aerial. And I do disagree that the trees that are out there that have been managed and that have multiple leaders and sprouts and will grow into a full and mature shade tree. They just won't. But that said, again, we'll give the commission the opportunity to go out. We'll submit all the plans, the packets that Lynn has submitted to the board for review. You can go out, make your own determination, come back and let the staff know what you would like to do. Do you want to do that in 1 week or would you like 2 weeks, Mr. Chairman?
Can that be accomplished in a week?
If that's up to the board. Usually we do it in a week so the board can go out there, but if the board needs more time, just let us know.
All right, Dave, I see.
Oh, I had one question, Jen. Is it important to approval that these trees do grow up to be the term we use? Lynn,
Full and mature
what's the
form?
term you use for the tall trees? I forgot the term.
Full and mature form.
Okay.
Canopy tree.
Canopy tree.
Is it important that these for approval for these to grow up to be full and mature trees, or could they be?
When they grow, they're going to grow as multi-leadered, like large shrubs. They are going to present more of a view issue for any future homeowner. They're not going to be they're not going to be a single trunk tree growing up. They're growing out from the base with multiple leaders and.
I just trying to figure out if you consider that, we should consider that to be a problem, or is that okay?
It is going to be a problem.
Why is that a problem? Because it's
Because
not like it was. It's not like it was 40 years ago. It's not getting back to the original.
Correct.
Right. That's the reason. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
So Lynn, I have one concern. I know that they're pushing because the house is under agreement, but if even in a week this got approved, how could you plant it before the house? How could you plant the project before the house was sold?
It would, Brian should probably address this more, but having spoken to everybody since last spring, once they have an agreement that the commission will approve this, the buyers are willing to move forward.
And I can add to that, Mr. Chairman, the lender for the buyer is aware that there's an open order of conditions. And that's kind of like kryptonite to the lender. It just doesn't want to touch it. So if we have this resolved, even though it's not done, the transaction can go forward.
But I
I would
mean,
like-
it would have to be followed up on in that case.
Absolutely. And if I could just reorientate the commission too, what's at issue here is the proposal is planting 610 square feet of native plants in a buffer zone. And we're suggesting that that is such a minor activity that you can determine that the bylaw does not apply a negative determination. There still is another chapter to come. The property has to come before you for compliance in order to close that order. And until that happens, the property owner is subject to possible enforcement. So our goal is to hopefully get a negative determination, allow this sale to be done. The owners are going to have a holdback for the plantings. The plantings will be done in the spring, and the new owner will come to you for compliance. And then the commission gets compliance with this 1984 order.
Alyssa,
That's on the staff to monitor, Mr. Chairman. You have no ability to condition the RDA that says the plants have to go in this spring.
Mhm.
This office is very busy. We do not have time to monitor every RDA that's out there. I do have a concern with that.
okay, thank you, Jen. Alyssa, I saw you had your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and just to note that this only is proposing to address the missing plantings on site. This does not address the majority of the remaining compliance issues. Staff does have concerns with the planting plan, and the site was not staked. So if you would like to visit the site, I think perhaps a 2-week continuance would be best so that the property lines, buffer zones, proposed planting areas, everything you usually see can be properly staked for your review. And now that Brian has explained, I understand how the sale process will proceed going forward. We've been answering questions about this process since March on how to address the COC, how to get a site plan. We've responded the first couple days of July. It could have been planted by now. So we understand, but I think plantings in the spring is a definite must. Thank you.
I'd like to address a couple of things if it's appropriate.
Go ahead, Lynn. Make it quick, though. I got it to the rest of the commission.
Yeah, I will. So I received an email from Alyssa on September 23rd because it was very expanded conversations. And it wasn't until the end of September that we were in agreement that the only outstanding issue on this site was the 25-foot buffer restoration. Regarding the trees, whether they grow to their mature form, we do this a lot, and then I could also include in my plan, you can have an arborist go prune these trees to get a leader. If you're very concerned about them having their original form, then that's something that can be accomplished, and it's much better done with trees that are established, that are used to that environment. They're on the coast, they're hardy, they're healthy. I also repeat that I disagree that it's been some pruning. I don't think it's been too egregious. And then we've also, and Brian might better address this, that we before, in order to close out orders, have constructed a letter of agreement. So it gives the commission a surety that these plants would survive, can be monitored. You can put a number of factors in a letter of agreement, and that can be recorded against the deed as well to give the commission a surety that the project will go forward and will be successful in the normal term that a notice of intent would cover.
Thank you. Jen,
Just one quick thing, Mr. Chairman, this letter of assurity was never mentioned to us, and it has not been vetted or approved by your council.
Okay.
And again, yes, an arborist could take care of the trees, which would be conditioned under an order of conditions to restore the buffer. You can't condition an RDA. So it's all we're wishful thinking that the new owners are going to come and spend all this money to hire an arborist to prune these trees back because they've been damaged. So anyway, I think a 2-week continuance to have the site staked, the commission to go out, you do your full evaluation. I don't think there's much more to say at this point, Mr. Chairman.
all right, Jen. Anyone else from the commission? Anyone got any comments? Any questions? Okay, so,
I'm not going to be here in 2 weeks, so it would either have to be a week or first of the year.
If the board has technical questions, I will be at the hearing on the 17th, but I'm a little reluctant to go forward without Lynn if there's technical questions. And I suppose there might be if after you go see the site. Permission
Okay.
has been granted to go to the site. And I don't want to open up a can of worms again, but I just would suggest too that there's another process coming, compliance. We're just proposing the planting right now. So at the commission's discretion, either the 17th or into January.
Brian, if you don't want to go forward without Lynn, and I you know,
I don't want to go
that's
forward without Lynn. I kind of take back what I said because if the staff and commission members go out to the property and then they have questions, I'm not capable of answering technical
No.
questions.
absolutely. So why don't we continue this to January 7th? That's our next available, unfortunately.
Is that okay with
Lynn, are you
Lynn?
available on that day?
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, we'll
Fine
do
with me
January
too.
7th then.
Okay.
At the request of the applicant, we continue this hearing to January 7th. Driscoll.
thank you, Ron.
Duffy, second.
Thank you, Bill. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, I'm gonna go ahead and call a roll to continue to, what was the date again? 7th, Jen?
January 7th.
January 7th, Mr. Chairman.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and call a roll to continue until January 7th. Steve,
And I.
Ronnie,
Driscoll, aye. Yep.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
I got you, sorry, Ron.
You got me. You baited me again.
Bad name with the Rons and Ronnies tonight. Dave,
You can call me Davey. Aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So it's unanimous to continue until January 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. Thank you, staff. Happy New Year.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Happy New Year,
Yeah.
Brian. Good night, Lynn.
All right, that was 23. Okay, so next up is, this is still under the IDAs here, is Melissa Hall, 121 Allen Ave, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Melissa,
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Driscoll, so moved.
One
Duffy,
second.
we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendations. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'll call a roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Can't I?
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim, and Rob.
McGrath, aye.
Robbins is an aye. Is somebody? Yeah, okay. It's unanimous. Accept staff's recommendation. Next up is Salt Pond Areas Bird Sanctuaries, Inc., care of Catherine Taylor, 0 Swift Street, Falmouth, Mass. Map/parcel ID is 24A-11-002-004 for permission to repair an existing seawall. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved. Driscoll.
And second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendations for 0 Swift Street. Any other comments, questions by the board? Hearing none, I will call a roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Can't I?
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So it's unanimous to accept staff's recommendation on 0 Swift Street. Next up is Scott Masilli, 28 Oak Grove Ave, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to raise and rebuild an existing single-family dwelling, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, and conduct regrading. Melissa.
This application has been withdrawn without prejudice.
Right, so we don't need a motion to accept the withdrawal, do we, Jen?
No.
Okay. So we move on to the next one. So again, 47 Ostrom Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Alyssa,
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved, Driscoll.
Kent, second.
thank you. Second, to accept staff's recommendation on 47 Ostrom Road. Any other comments, questions by the board? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So we unanimous, we accept staff recommendation, 47 Ostrom Road. Next up is Michael and Mary Devlin, 3 Boston Street, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct a roof top deck.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved, Driscoll.
Kent, second.
Thank you, Ron. Dave. We have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation on Boston Street. Any other comments or questions by the board? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So it's unanimous to accept staff's recommendation on Boston Street. Next up is Margaret Greer Jewett Hogan Jr., trustees, 0 Penzance Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to extend an existing flood wall. Alyssa,
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved, Driscoll.
Kent,
Duffy,
second.
second.
you got a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation. Any other comments or questions by the board? Hearing none.
That's That question, who owns the property? What's the name of the trust? That's just trustees, right?
Just
I mean, there are trustees. I just don't think the name of the trust was actually put on the application.
Okay.
Is that gonna make a difference, Jen? We have an existing, there's existing orders on this, right? But it's on 174,
Correct.
and this is tied to 174?
Correct. It's one contiguous wall.
Okay, and this is just the piece in between.
Correct.
All right. Guess we accept the trustees on this.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments or questions?
Sorry.
Can I get a motion? To accept
We already did the motion in a second.
Motion second. Accept staff's recommendation. So no other comments or questions. I will call the roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. It's unanimous to accept staff's recommendations to 0 Penzance Road. Next up is Karen and Richard Noyes, trustees, 237 Minot Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct additions and close an existing breezeway and install dry wells. Jen, sorry, Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
So moved, Driscoll.
Bowman, second.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ronnie. So we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendations for 237 Minot Road. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Can't I?
Duffy, aye.
Jim
McGrath, aye.
Robbins is an aye. It's unanimous to accept staff's recommendations, 237 Minot Road. Next up is Laureen S. Petite, 22 Anchor Lane, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to construct a two-story garage. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
So moved, Driscoll.
Bowman second.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ronnie. So we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendations. Are there any comments or questions by the board? Hearing none, I will call a roll. Steve?
Patton, aye.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Can't I?
Duffy, aye.
Ben?
McGrath, aye.
Robbins is an aye. It's unanimous to accept staff's recommendations. Recommendation on 22 Anchor Lane. All right, continued requests for a determination of applicability. Sylvia Bartel, 174 Acapesca Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved, Driscoll.
Bowman second.
We have a motion second to accept staff's recommendations. Any other comments or questions by the board? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Steve?
Patton, aye.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Can't I?
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim?
McGrath, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So it's unanimous to accept staff's recommendations for 174 Pesca Road. Next up is request for a hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously in the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And first up tonight, we have Thomas Turner, Chappaqua Association.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. We were gonna take 202 Edgewater Drive out of
Out of order. You're absolutely
out of order so that Chuck Martinson could join us.
Thank you, Jen, for reminding me.
Not a
Nope.
problem, Mike Borselli. Okay, there's Chuck. Mike has informed me that the Farrells, the applicants, would like to be promoted. So I'm promoting Michael and Marnie Farrell, and I also am promoting Pam Newbert from Megalodon. Correct, Mike?
Yep, if she's there.
Okay. Yep, she's here.
All right, so let me read that in. Michael and Marnie Farrell, 202 Edgewater Drive East LLC, 202 Edgewater Drive East, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to construct a dock. Thank you, Jen, for reminding me.
Not a problem. And just to recap, this is being taken out of order because the board specifically wanted to hear from the town's shellfish warden, Chuck Martinson, who is joining us tonight. The board had asked Chuck to answer a series of questions, which he has done, which we sent to you, we sent to Mike. And so Chuck is here because the board specifically wanted to ask him some questions. So Chuck is here to answer any of the questions. To remind the board, this is the dock with the two, if you may, conflicting shellfish surveys. One was done that tripped the density. Another was done several months later and did not trip the density.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, Chuck is here to answer any questions as requested by the board.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. Chuck, thank you for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So questions for Chuck while we got him up here. I know there were questions. Were they all answered by the email? Was everybody satisfied with that?
I can go over the questions the board wanted. I think, Dave, you wanted to talk to Officer Martinson and ask that he be. One of the questions the board has was, Was the area in front of 202 Edgewater Drive closed or open when the two surveys were completed? I'm looking at my questions and not Chuck's answers, so give me one moment and I can bring them up. Chuck Martinson, where are you? And Chuck said September 14th through the September 14, 2024, and May 2023, May 2025. September 14th was closed. May 3rd, 2025 was closed, but it closed May 21st of 2025. I think one of the questions that he may be able to elaborate a little bit more on for the board, one of your questions was, can quahogs move after being disturbed by the first survey? The second survey only showed about half the amount as the first. Chuck's answers were juvenile quahogs can have some horizontal mobility with their foot. However, this is more common with younger animals. More mature animals are normally not as mobile horizontally. They tend to be subject to outside forces or influences. Another question the board had, would the nearby Cape Cod oyster grant affect the area in front of 202 Edgewater by naturally propagating the area? Answer, the farm primarily produces oysters. There would be no more or no less influence than any other similar bottom in that area. Your fourth question, is there a significant current in that area that would disturb the quahogs or wash them away? There is a current north-south which runs by the nearby Bayside Beach, and I would estimate the max current to be 3 knots or less. And the last question the board had is, if the commission were to require a third survey, what amount of time should pass? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? And the answer was the longer time period would generally allow for more recruitment under ideal circumstances. However, we are not operating in a vacuum. There may be many variables at play, such as future commercial or harvest recreation. So those are the questions the board had. And Chuck is here to answer or elaborate on any additional questions or elaborate on the ones he had. Thank you.
All right. I see, Bill, you got your hand up?
Yeah, thanks for coming, Chuck. So from what I understand, September 14th, they tripped the trigger, and May 3rd, they did not.
Correct.
Just really quickly, Chuck, I know it was closed in September 14th. How long was the bed closed before that survey was done?
The area closes generally May 1st, which is a state closure. It's actually not a town closure. And I obviously did confirm that with our area biologist, Mike Blanco, that none of that had been changed or there weren't any discrepancies there. I spoke with Mike at the Division of Marine Fisheries approximately a week ago. He confirmed that, and yep, so that is a state closure. That's an annual closure.
When is it open to fishing?
Let me just go back to my notes on that. It opens, hang on one moment. I believe that opens, hang on one moment here, please. I believe that area opens November 1st, generally, unless it's held later.
Okay, so just from my timeline, so it would have opened on November 1st, 2024, and been allowed to be fished until May 1st, 2025, where it's closed again until November.
It would, yeah, there would be a winter time frame that it would be open. It is possible it could have been December. Sometimes there are holdbacks, which are town holdbacks. I'd have to go back and check on the actual town holdback to see if there was a holdback, but there would be a period of time within that time frame where it would have been opened.
Okay, so the survey in May 3rd was done literally 2 days after it was closed. From
It was
when
done,
it was able to be
right.
fished for months. Okay.
Right. Yep,
Thank
correct.
you
It
very
was that closure happened the last day of April, and then May 1st the closure actually triggered. So
Excellent. Thanks, Chuck.
yes, sir.
Thanks, Bill. Dave, I see you have your hand up.
Well, I guess the question for me is, I don't really understand seems like there could be different reasons why for the drop between the first one and the second one. We've been told in a previous meeting that actually taking the sample can cause disruption, and maybe that would cause the second to be lower. There could be natural movement or or fishing. I'm just trying to get a handle on is the drop we saw explainable or normal, and because I think it's important for the commission to know what's the running rate going to be going forward, and we have two different measurements, so it's hard to tell.
Sure. As far as kind of acute information that I have about surveys that have been done, and then follow-up surveys and what there is there for shellfish afterward, I haven't done we haven't published any literature on that. We haven't done a lot of survey work on that. Obviously, we do know, there's some anecdotal information I can give you that certainly when shellfish are pulled up, if they're thrown back down onto the substrate on the bottom, there can be some level of mobility. As I said, generally a little bit more with the smaller animals, with juvenile animals, than with adults. Potentially could the animals have gone in and been swept down or swept away a little bit because of a current? There's a possibility. But it's really tough to really put your finger on it. It would be, we could list a number of possibilities, which could or could not be plausible, but it's near impossible to put your finger on one specific, set of circumstances that could have been the one of why it went one way or the other.
Is it reasonable for me to ask, if you were advising the commission, what number we should use? First, second, or something in the middle, or?
I mean, I would at this point really not be comfortable with.
Maybe it can't be done. Okay, maybe it's
right. Yep.
It's too unknown to make a confident answer. Sounds like.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
Okay. That's fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else for Chuck while we got him here? All right. Everybody satisfied with the responses we got as far as the shellfish part went? I'd like to let Chuck go because I know he's on his off time. So
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
yeah, thanks a lot, Chuck. Really appreciate it.
Okay, were there any questions from the proponent? I don't know if they had any that
They have their hand up, Mr. Chairman.
I'd be happy to answer any questions they had as well, just to provide, kind of equal access to the background for them as well. So.
All right. Oh, okay. Mike, go ahead. Michael and Marnie.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. I know that Pam Newbert is here from Megalodon. She's calling in from the Middle East, I believe. So it's very early there. Can we promote her? Is she?
Mr. Farrell, I tried to promote her twice and it declined, but I can try again.
If you wouldn't mind.
I saw her. I tried to promote her right away.
It's 3 a.m. in the morning, so she tried to. She was up early.
I'm getting no response, Mr. Farrell.
That's okay. I can get her on speakerphone. We had a backup plan because she did try yesterday and she had some problems. That's fine. You know what? I don't know if now's the time for me to make a statement, or I should probably wait for Pam. One second. Sorry about that.
All right, baby. Bye, sweet. Bye. Bye, Ryan. I'll talk to you later in the week. Okay, bye, sweet. Love you.
Sorry about this. Thank you for your patience. We thought she had texted that she was on there.
gonna try to get her and I can.
Sorry.
Hello, you have reached Pam Newberg.
Yeah. All right.
508-274-279.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. Sorry about that. I know that she was on and you know, she's calling from the Middle East, so she had some technical difficulties.
And she definitely had some comments after I think she watched the last hearing, and so she had some things to say. I think one of it too that we found, if you take both of the surveys and you look and you see the areas where there's actually 9 shellfish that were in areas that weren't there in the first one. So as far as movement, like those were added into the equation that hadn't been there before. So that kind of, I think, would be important to kind of take into consideration as well. You know, the ones, keep kind of focusing on the ones that weren't found the second time. But there were 9 additional ones that were found in areas that weren't there before. So she kind of stressed in an email to us that, you know, there's value in having repeated results for scientific understanding. Shellfish can increase or decrease in abundance depending on sediment, water quality conditions, and by general movement. And they noted during the survey, and that is in the conclusion, that the sediment was black and had the distinct smell of hydrogen sulfide, indicating hypoxic and anoxic sediments. So her conclusions both times on our project was that it would not affect, our project does not affect shellfish habits in either scenario. So
I
think
can read,
that's-
I actually have her recommendation after the first survey, the one that failed. And this is what she said. She said, based on observations made during the shellfish survey, the town of Falmouth FWR 10.34 shellfish thresholds for quahogs were exceeded by less than 1/2 a quahog per 9 feet squared. There were no quahogs found within the center line of the proposed project. Area B had no shellfish observed. This project will not affect water circulation, will not cause changes in the distribution of sediment grain size, will not affect freshwater inflow and/or productivity of plants, and will have no significant negative impact to water quality. The sediment within the surveyed footprint was observed to have high organic content consisting of black and anexic silt, with a majority of stations in Area A having the distinct hydrogen sulfur odor. These conditions observed are indicative of eutrophication and are providing suboptimal habitat for shellfish. And after that, Megaladoon Environmental recommended that the project receive an order of conditions. Now, after that initial survey narrowly missed, you know, we met with Michael, and Michael noted that even a minimal exceedance rarely receives approval. So following his suggestion, we consulted with our full team, including Pam and Darren. Megaladoon advised us that we should check the shellfish abundances again, because there is value in having repeated results for scientific understanding. And that's why we did the other one. And I know that it's not uncommon that people present the survey that passes, and sometimes they don't, and they wait until they do. And in this case, we obviously presented the one that did. Another thing I just wanted to point out is I think context matters here a little bit. Where we are, there are 25 consecutive docks to the north of us. I could take a baseball and throw it to the north and hit a dock. And then I could turn around and throw a baseball to the south and hit a dock. So 25 consecutive docks to the north, 6 or 7 docks to the south, ending less than 2.2 miles away. And a new dock is being built across the river diagonally from our area.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Google Earth picture, and within 0.7 miles, there are 50 docks in our area. So it's a heavy boating community. And like we stated earlier, and Pam noted earlier in her conclusions, it's not a shellfish habitat. I think our project, would not affect that at all.
And last thing, I think, we're committed members of the community. This project directly supports Falmouth's economy through our work with Michael and Pam and any local builder who may construct our modest dock. We think that the facts overwhelmingly support approval of this project. The requirement is that we have a successful survey, which we did, and we respectfully ask for your approval so that we can move forward.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Chuck. Oh,
Chuck?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to give any opportunities to the family proponents if they had any questions. It sounds like they don't have any specific questions for me, so I'm going to be jumping off. So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Thank you very much, Chuck. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
Bill?
Yeah, just a comment on the survey. I was just curious for the scientific integrity of it. Why wasn't it done a year later at the same time? It just seems a little different that it was done 2 days after a full season of fishing.
Yeah,
So
I actually
if you can
have
see
a
what the
good-
skeptic in me is, and if you want repeatable results in science, you do it the same time.
Yeah, I actually have an answer to that. Oh, sorry. I actually have an answer to that. So it was busy season for us. We're accountants, kind of crazy. We tabled this because it was less than a half of a cohog that we didn't meet the threshold. So we're like, what do we do? Tabled it out of the blue. I think it was in February. Our contractor texted me. I have the text, actually showed it to Megalodon. And it said, hey, Falmouth regulations might be changing. If you guys are going to apply for a dock, you might want to consider moving it up before July 1st. So that prompted a whole nother round of discussions with Mike, our engineer, and also Megalodon. So at that point, we started thinking what's best to do. And I'm like, what's the earliest you can get out here? Obviously, Pam oversees a lot. So the first available time was that May timeframe. I know Jen said in the prior meeting, yeah, you could have just asked me, if these regulations were going to affect anything. But we just, we didn't go that route. We just went with, okay, let's try to get this in before July 1st, have another test done, see what that has in store for us, and see if we can get this application going. We also, it's a rented property. We have renters there, so we have to plan for the season. We don't want to disrupt anyone that's there. So we knew it would be busy. We wanted to kind of get all this done before the busy season of the summer. So that was our first big rental season. So there was a little bit of urgency then. We weren't thinking timing of anything, of effects of anything. We wanted to get it done. Like I said, that July 1st supposed deadline from our contractor, and then also the busy rental season. So
and also Pam, Pam's, she's a PhD and I'm sure you guys know that in marine biology, and she was okay with us doing it at that time. And as far as I know, the requirement is one successful survey. That's my understanding. It's that we met the requirement, even though we had two. And just to point it out, I know in talking with Pam and Michael that there are other projects that require that do multiple surveys, and when it passes, that's the one you use.
Oh, that's interesting, Mr. Farrell. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Jen?
Quick question, Ms. Farrell, when was that text to you sent, and who was it text from?
The text was from our contractor, Pete Langen.
Oh, I know him well from your property. And when was the text sent?
He's a great guy.
let's see, then I sent it, I want to say February 19th. I have a picture right here.
Okay, February timeframe. When regulations change, Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, there has to be a very public process that it goes through. There's no way the regulations would have changed from February to July. They have to be promulgated. They have to go through public hearings. They have to be referenced in the paper. There's a 60-day comment period. We need to address the comments we received. It goes back out to comment. So it never would have happened in that time frame. I have one other question. Mr. Farrell, you stated the second survey was done after consultation with your project team, which included Mr. Berselli, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Ronnie,
I have a real problem with this. If we didn't have the anonymous call, we wouldn't even be sitting here right now. And I do not think they should have another test. I don't know what it cost, Mike, or what was the cost of that?
the first one was $5,000 and the second one, I believe, was $3,500. So it is very expensive.
And then all the engineering costs that to date.
Yeah. I just think we should just move forward with this. I just totally disagree with what's going on right now. That's my feeling.
hey, Ronnie, Mike, Sally, I haven't heard from you tonight. Unusual.
I'm ready to talk when everyone else is done, and this isn't my area of expertise, but I would like to say something at this moment. Jen just made some comments that suggested that maybe there was some unethical things that occurred. She basically cross-examined my client, asked specifically who on the project team advised them. I will say this, and I've said it before, check the record. When shellfish surveys are done and performed and they exceed the thresholds, I always say that's unfortunate. You should consider doing another survey in the future. Perhaps things will change. That's what I said. And I said it at the last hearing. So any suggestion that I've done anything that was not appropriate, I take umbrage with.
Okay, Mike.
I have nothing else to say. We can do shellfish surveys over and over and over again. If we do another shellfish survey and it's over, we could say, well, we'd like to do another one in 6 months after that. And it can go on and on and on. These are random sampling events. They are different every time. And it's unfortunate that the people that performed the shellfish survey, wrote the report, aren't here to speak to you. That's all I have.
Hey, Mike. Anyone else got anything? Alyssa, where you all set?
I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Jen, you done? Are you done, Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to pass and move forward.
So you want to close the hearing, Ron? Is that what?
I do.
Okay, close the hearing, take it under advisement. All right.
Just
Okay, we have a motion by Ronnie to close the hearing, take it under advisement. We have a second by Ron Driscoll. Anything else from the boards? Anything else from Mr. and Mrs. Farrell?
I just wanted to get back to Jen on her question. It was February 18th that we got the text from our contractor. And he states there are some new FEMA regulations that are in the works. And the Falmouth Conservation are also going through some changes, and I believe some of them go into effect on July 1st.
Okay.
Unfortunately, your contractor was wrong, Ms. Farrell, but anyway, we're moving forward.
We have a motion in a second, so we're gonna move the sentence.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry. Can I ask one more question? I'm a little confused on this issue of do we take multiple ones and then if one is right, we go with that? I mean, in the last meeting I asked about this and I heard that we really did have an experience with multiple surveys. And now I hear
We've never been aware of multiple surveys before, Dave. If a survey has tripped and another one is done, the commission was not provided the information.
But I hear in today's meeting that if there are multiples and there's one that's good, we go with it. I don't know if that's true. I kind of.
We've never been faced
I
with
know,
this
that-
situation before, Dave, so it's
that's
really
my
going to
point.
be up to the commission.
That's my point. It doesn't seem to jive with the two statements last time. And
Well, perhaps I can add some clarity, Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
The original shellfish survey was done, I forget the date, many months ago. It exceeded the threshold. The client was advised they would not, regardless of what the substrate was, it's this board's purview to look at densities, and if you exceed the density of 1 per 9 square feet, you do not approve a dock. The client was advised to reconsider doing a survey in the future. Things might change. That's exactly what they did. An anonymous source.
Mike,
dropped
the whole anonymous, so I don't take this is my opinion. I don't give any credence to anonymous sources. I really don't.
Well, you may not, but what's happened is the anonymous source has triggered this investigation. And now the investigation, because Megalodon was forthright and brought out the fact that there were 2 shellfish surveys because they were honest. Now we're being scrutinized beyond what is appropriate.
Fair enough.
Mr. Chairman, just
Yeah,
to clarify,
right?
just to clarify to the board, the anonymous source did not trigger Officer Martinson's investigation. Officer Martinson received information beyond the anonymous source. So we all know the board doesn't want to deal with it, so just throw that out.
Well, what is the information? Why can't we know what this
You needed to ask Mr. Martinson that information.
He should have said something then.
Yeah.
If someone's gonna make a
I'm
complaint.
calling this vote. We have a
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
motion and a second on the floor. Enough. So I'm going to call a roll. Everybody's all set?
Yep.
On the commission, right? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call a roll. This is is to close the hearing and take it under advisement. And
Correct.
so first up is Steve.
Pat and I.
Okay. Ron Driscoll.
July.
Ronnie Bowman.
Bowman, aye.
Dave Kent.
Can't I?
Bill Duffy.
Duffy, no.
Jim
McGrath, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So we've got 6 in favor and 1 against. This hearing is closed and we'll take it under advisement.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
all.
great night.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, I go back to Thomas Turner. Right, we got this one moved out. Chuck, very good. So we're going back to Thomas Turner, Chappaquiddick Associates, 0 Chappaquiddick Road, Falmouth, Mass. Map/parcel ID is 2406008000. For permission.
Mr. Chairman, bear with me. I'm having trouble getting Mike back into attendees and then promoting. I don't know what this is doing. Alyssa, can you say if you can put Mike into attendees? Do you have that ability? You're co-host, right?
Who, Mike Boselli?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
still
still up.
in the panel.
Still see him, huh?
I see
Yeah, I
him.
know. I can't seem to get him back into attendees.
Just hold on, his screen is frozen.
He's
There you
gone.
go.
Oh, there he is.
You got it.
And who am I bringing over?
I've got it.
Okay.
I'm a Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Are you done reading that?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
Well, okay, let me just finish reading this. For permission to reconstruct a roadway and revetment, replace the timber bulkhead with sheet piling, add a cap to the sheet piling, reconfigure beach access, and conduct dune nourishments. All right, we're looking for Mike Boselli, John Ramsey, or Jeremy Packett.
Okay, so John Ramsey, from Sustainable Coastal Solutions is up, as well as Jeremy Packard. Hello, Jeremy. I haven't seen you in a while. From Foth Engineering is up to present their project. Same to you,
Okay.
John. I haven't seen you in a while either. How are you both?
Doing just fine.
Doing
So
well.
everybody can hear me okay? And I think I'm just going to go right to sharing a screen if that's okay.
That's fine.
Make my life a little easier if I can pull this off. Is that up there?
It is
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to do a quick presentation. I think it's easier for a project like this to go through this this way. So this is to reconstruct the bulkhead along Chappaquiddick Road. So this is the private section of road. We're doing this for the Chappaquiddick Associates. We're trying to rebuild the bulkhead and revetment. And I'll go through some of the reasoning that we're doing to try to improve resiliency in that area, as well as to try to change provide resiliency to the dune at the north end as well, and change the access to the beach in that area. So just a quick thing on project history for people who aren't familiar in what's happened in that area. Obviously, the town is had some issues there with the beach eroding in front of the seawall. This is the area just north of there, and they are also having similar problems with the beach disappearing over time and from just coastal erosion long term. The revetment was built around the 1960s. Over time, the beach that was in front of that revetment has become eroded. And I would point out that the original work that has been done on this revetment in the past have always had the revetment above the mean high water. So it really is only required in order of conditions. Now, with the beach having basically disappeared, certainly at high tide, we're in a situation where we're going to be applying for Chapter 91 water quality cert and Army Corps permit as well. So we do have, over time, we have had some evidence of stone movement. And so one of the things we want to make sure is we have the ability to restore this revetment. And then, especially in 22 and 23, during those December storms, they had quite a bit of overwash during those two December storm events. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is actually improve the resiliency and try to reduce the amount of scour they're having. We are starting to get holes forming underneath the roadway. And right now in this section, unlike the town section, we're not backed by a concrete seawall. We actually have a wood bulkhead that is buried, and that is well beyond its design life, and portions of it have rotted out and they're starting to lose some sediment from underneath the road. So just to give a quick historical look, this is 1968. You can see the nice wide beach out in front of this area, as well as fewer houses, obviously. Over time, going to 1975, you see how the beach narrows. And all these pictures, you see that the revetment was already in place. But then also going forward to now, you can obviously see that revetment, you can see the water staining on it. And obviously the water now goes up to about halfway up the revetment at high tide. So that's what the situation we're dealing with. And so we're just trying to address some of that going forward. Down on the ground, this is what it looks like. The picture on the top left is just showing some of the stones that have come out of the revetment. You don't see a lot of this except when we lose the beach, especially in the winter months. This year, we've actually had a nice wide beach over the summer, which is great. But we do have a tendency to have a beach that is narrowed over time. At the north end, there's a return on the revetment. It's basically a dune up in that area. And there is certainly some end effect now wrapping around, and that area has become eroded. You see that on the bottom left. Looking from north to south, that's the picture on the right. This just gives you an idea what the revetment looks like. Obviously, the revetment, when you take a look at a picture like this, looks like it's in pretty good shape. But as we go along, we see areas where we've had some sinkholes start forming. Not nearly as bad as the town. And certainly a picture at the end, the town is going through that process of trying to get out to bid so they can do the repairs down in that southern section so they can get the road back open to the 2 lanes. So what we're proposing is along a length of 670 feet, and we're looking at putting a sheet pile wall to replace the bulkhead, the wood bulkhead behind in the same place, and then adding a 32-inch cap, a concrete cap, to reduce the wave overtopping. In front of that, we would be reconstructing the revetment in the exact same footprint. We would not be going any further seaward than the existing revetment, and it would basically be at the same slope. So what we're really looking to do is add additional wave overtopping ability so that we can reduce the amount of potential damage and undermining of the roadway. Through that concrete cap, we have scuppers. The scuppers would be a space at 6 feet. So it allows the roadway to drain as well. So the other thing is we were planning on relocating the access stairs. There's an access stairway off the parking lot at the north end that goes directly down the face of the revetment. We'll be moving that hopefully to the north end so that it does not drop down into the intertidal zone, but rather drops onto that beach that is just to the north there, where we have a dry beach at high tide. And then in order to make sure that we have the same contiguous level of flood protection as the concrete cap, we're actually proposing dune nourishment, about 70 cubic yards at the north end, to bring that elevation up to about 14. The top of the protection we're looking at is about 13.5 for the stone cap, so that would be wrapping around the north end, and so make sure that we're basically protecting this entire area up to an elevation of 14. I would point out from the FEMA flood zone that we are still not going to be protecting from the 100-year storm. It's really not pragmatic to do that in this case. The road is relatively low, and obviously Buzzards Bay gets extremely high storm surge, so we are not really have the ability to protect to that level. But what we are trying to do is reduce potential damage from typical winter storms, and obviously as the sea level rises, to protect even from minor storms as time goes on. And last statement there is also within this, we would also be resurfacing the road again, just to make sure that any minor drainage, certainly we want to make sure that the scuppers are effective and being able to drain the road properly. Obviously the road's had some settlement over time, over the years, so we want the resurfacing would be necessary. Just from a plan view, again, you guys have the plans. It's kind of hard to see at this scale, but the dune is the small feature up in the north end, the dune enhancement, and the walkway would also be shifted back here. So this is a Moby mat rolled out seasonally, and that would have sand fence on either side of it, so people would not be wandering into the dune. And then the staircase would be down the face of the revetment. There was an error in my narrative where we talked about a stone staircase. It has actually been changed to wood. That was at the client's request. It's something they feel that they can maintain more easily. But that is something we're originally thinking of, building a stone staircase into the revetment, but the client decided to go with wood. I think from a standpoint of longevity, it's the stone would have lasted longer, especially but the wood is certainly a lot cheaper to replace if they need to make any modifications. And I'll talk a little bit more about the staircase in a minute. These are just the cross sections. I should say that cross section AA is through the dune section, which would be the top one, and then cross section BB is through the revetment in front of the roadway. And so the top cross section is just that cross section of the revetment. And I will say that the sheet pile is not going to extend into that dune area at the north end. The sheet pile ends at the end of pavement. So we are not proposing to have the sheet pile behind the revetment going up into that dune area. We're just proposing to replace the existing revetment in kind. And then have an elevated dune behind that to provide the flood protection up at that north end. And then further south, you'd see the cross section that I showed before with the revetment sheet pile driven in behind it, and then the concrete cap, 32-inch concrete cap on top of that to reduce wave overtopping. Resource areas, obviously we are impacting resource areas in a potentially significant manner. We're trying to keep that these impacts as minor as we can. There are certainly coastal beach and coastal dune in this area. The entire area is a barrier beach. And the existing revetment is classified as a coastal bank. It's, as I said, we're restoring or replacing 670 feet of revetment. And then the entire project area is in land subject to coastal storm flowage. We are certainly within the flood zone. And so including the roadway, that's 32,000 square feet. And so you get an idea of the level resources areas we are impacting. One thing I will point out about coastal beach, that is really temporary impacts having to do with just the excavation required to place the toe stone. The material would be, after the toe stones are replaced, the beach material would be put over in the same form on top of the structure so that any coastal beach impacts are temporary. So I'm not going to go into this in great detail, but I did want to at least touch on the resource areas a little bit more. As I just mentioned about the coastal beach resource area, it is just a temporary impact. The existing revetment is considered a coastal bank. We are actually in the concept of 310 CMR and the wetland bylaws. We're certainly improving the flood resiliency here. So we're looking at this as an improvement to the coastal bank flood protection with that 32-inch concrete cap. And the same goes for the coastal dune at the north end. By elevating the dune, we're providing additional flood protection. We also believe that it's a good idea to move the access of the beach rather than having it go down the face of the revetment into the water at high tide, moving that access with this pedestrian walkway, sand fencing, and vegetation on the dune to the backside there, and allowing that access to go across that dune area to the north. And again, this is all land subject to coastal storm flowage. But again, we are doing our best to improve the flood protection of this area to the extent that we can. One of the problems that we run into, obviously, is under the bylaw, if we're in a VE zone, which we are, we need to consider a 2-foot elevation per 100 years into the project design. It is really something that is not possible, similar to the town roadway further south. We are kind of pinned by our elevation to not really be able to increase the elevation of the road, which without having massive impacts to resource areas. And so, we are sort of stuck with the elevation that we have of the roadway. So any improvements we can do are going to be kind of pragmatic within our ability. And so it's hard for us to, again, do shore protection to a level that is going to withstand the impacts from a 100-year storm today, let alone something going in the future with 2 feet of sea level rise. So again, it's really the intent to just improve the situation the best we can. So that's what we went with again, a concrete cap that is approximately is 32 inches. It will change a little bit depending on the elevation of the roadway, but it is going to be a 32-inch concrete cap that is going to provide basically a level of protection up to the height of a typical guardrail. So that's where we're at as far as what we can accomplish. Some questions came up, and I want to make sure that I address all of the staff's comments. One of the questions had to do with staging area. I'd like to point out the staging area that we're planning on using is there's a parking area right at the north end that we're planning to use as our staging area. I would also like to point out that as the contractor is moving along building the revetment, it's likely that some of the material would be stored on the road where the equipment is sitting as they're working down, and so it will be a situation where we would be closing a lane of the road as we're moving along constructing this revetment. I'd also like to point out, so this is a little more of a close-up, you can see the dune that we're proposing connects in with the end of the project, end of the cap, and wraps around to make sure that we have contiguous, basically 14-foot elevation protection going through there, and this walkway would basically go over the top of that. This is up at 15, 16 feet in this area where we'd be coming off, and then down and over the 14-foot dune. And then I'll talk about the stairs in a second, just because questions came up about that as well. So this is just a photo of the parking area, just so you can get kind of the scale. There is quite a bit of room there for laydown of equipment and material. So we're not really concerned that we're going to be strapped for space as far as having a staging area that is up on a paved surface. So just a quick comment on the wood stairs. We're planning on doing something similar to what the wood stairs are now, where there'll be a platform at the top and then piles at the bottom, and the stringers going all the way connecting the two. So there's actually no connection of the staircase to the revetment itself. So it'll be again a platform at the top, with piles, and then piles at the bottom, and then stringers attaching the two. And if you go out and look at the staircase, that's the way it is now. Even though it looks like there's piles that are on top of that revetment, those are actually not. That's actually not sitting on the revetment. It's kind of cantilevered over. And this is what it looks like from the other end. And so this up here is, there's no pile here. That is actually, the bottom of that is actually attached right to the side of the stringer. So that's what we're planning on doing. So we're not, it makes it easier to replace if anything happens to it. But again, in this picture, the beach looks nice and wide today, but this is even, gets wet at high tide. If we move it around the corner, we're up at about 1.5 feet above the annual high tide line. So that staircase should be much more able to survive any of these storms. And again, it's also tucked around the north side. So a lot of the storms that we get in this area that are creating the biggest waves are coming from the south anyways. So that would be a more protected area as well. So I just wanted to touch on the other staff comments as well as the letter that we got from DMF. So there was a comment about refueling, making sure we're not doing it on site. We are planning on doing refueling in the staging area, but we, in accordance with the DMF letter and any recommendation from the commission, we would look at making sure we have adequate containment and cleanup material to make sure that we're minimizing any potential impacts. But we would be asking for permission to try to have refueling done to the staging area. Obviously, we would work outside the time of year restriction for horseshoe crab, which is May 1st to July 31st, according to DMF. So that's not an issue whatsoever. And we would not store any armor stones on the beach. One of the things that was in the letter indicated not storing them in the intertidal zone. Obviously, the revetment's in the intertidal zone, so we may be storing some rocks on the revetment itself, but we would not be putting any stones within anywhere outside the footprint of the existing revetment. So the other thing is there's any time we're down on the beach, we're not working when the water is up. We will only be working when they're on the dry beach. So that is something that the DMF asked for as well. Question about the dune enhancement. It was asked whether it's dune nourishment or dune restoration. It is dune nourishment. I mean, we are building a new dune there, just elevating the existing dune, and the quantity is 68 cubic yards. And then about planting, we certainly would be planting that. Right now, the dune is planted up there. It looks like it's probably about an 18-inch center. We would certainly work with the conservation agent to refine the planting plan and certainly meet whatever requirements are there. But we would plan on certainly planting that dune once it's built. And then the construction access, we're not planning on doing construction access through the dune at the north. We'd be doing it down the face of the revetment. So as we're deconstructing the revetment, that would be the access. So we're not proposing any access going to the north of the project. The only work that would be being done in that existing dune area up there would be the dune nourishment itself. And then there was a question about barges. We were not planning on using any barges or any in-water equipment. So this would all be being done from the land. And then the question about scuppers, I think I answered that, but we're planning on every 6 feet along the concrete cap to make sure there's adequate drainage of the roadway, both during rainstorms and with any wave overtopping. And with that, I'd love to open it to questions, and I can leave the presentation up if you prefer, or I can take it down.
Would you take it down, John?
Yeah.
Did you have some? I'm sorry, Jen. Did you have something?
It's okay, Mr. Chairman. John, can you put it back up real quick and go to sorry, and
That's okay.
go to the slide you had showing the staging area?
Yes. Okay. That one?
Okay, right there.
Okay.
So you're saying that you're not going to have any equipment on the dune itself. How are you going to do that revetment if the pavement stops? You're going to have to bring the machine onto that dune area, correct?
I mean, we would do that from that part of it would likely be, we'd either be in the footprint of the revetment working back or on the beach itself. So we would, but we're trying
On
to
the
avoid,
beach itself.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so we're, yeah.
Do you have enough room on the beach? How are you going to get down on the beach?
Well, we're going to get down on the beach from the revetment face. So, I mean, so basically we're going to be taking the revetment apart. So, you know,
Yep.
So we've talked with, who was the contractor we talked with?
Dale Briggs.
Yeah, Dale Briggs. So Dale Briggs has looked at this, and that's the way he's planning on doing this. So was actually taking the revetment apart as we're moving and actually being able to do much of the work from the top, but also maybe needing to have some access down at the base.
Is he going to build a sand ramp over the revetment to get his equipment down?
He's either possibly partially sand ramp and partially with the material he's bringing in to rebuild the revetment, underlayer, etc., that he can use and reuse as he moves along.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The
So,
pad is low enough that you could kind of just drive right off, or close to it, drive right off the roadway itself. And so he'll dismantle.
we're aware that road's scary.
Right. And and hence the concrete cap, the same height as a guardrail. But you know, he'll dismantle those stones and rearrange them a bit to allow himself to drive right off, and then likely go at an angle rather than going straight down the revetment. You know, build himself an angle. You know, to get
Build himself
down.
a road. Got it.
Right.
You know,
Correct.
he'll build himself a road, get down there, go around that corner, rebuild it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back. Yep.
And keep in mind that corner when you get down is dry beach at all phases of the tide when you get to the end there to the north end.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So a lot of my questions, John, a lot of our questions are focused more on the dune and not on the revetment or the wall or anything like that. We know it has to happen. It's going to tie into the towns. It's going to offer better protection of the road. The cap,
Sure.
not only for coastal resiliency. I'm really surprised nobody's driven right off that road in all the years that I've been in Falmouth. So, you know, I have actually no concerns about the revetment. We were more focused, on the dune. The two access stair points. So there's you're proposing two access stairs.
no, we're going to remove the stair on the front side. The existing stair is going to be gone. And we're
Okay,
only-
so that's going to be gone, and you're only going to do the one that's attached to the path through the dune that you have the Moby mat on.
Correct.
Okay, so through the dune, the board usually just allows a 4-foot wide path. So the Moby mat would have to be cut to fit within that.
Yep.
Okay, there was some language in there about ADA compliance. There's no ADA compliance when you get to that staircase. I mean, you're ADA compliant for the path, but then they have no way to get down the stairs. So it's really not it's not true ADA access.
And it doesn't have to be because this is a private road. So it's not,
Correct.
we don't have that issue. I think that people, you know, when we were talking to the residents, they were concerned about, some of them are a little bit elderly, and they just want to make sure that they can get down the stairs. That's one of the reasons why they push back on the stone stairs. They, were afraid of falling and slipping, and they'd rather fall in wood than stone. So we went
Don't
through.
blame them.
I got that. So, we went through a lot of that. So, but I think that they want it just to make sure that they are not having to climb up and over things. And so we worked with the elevations to make it, pretty relatively level path to get to the top of the stairs. And if that's as far as they can get, then that's where we're at.
Okay. Okay, so we got the stairs, we got the dune. Obviously, you're going to have compatible sand. You'll plant it in accordance with the order of conditions. We've figured out where your staging is. There is no barge. That's great, because I don't know where you would have come out of. There's not coming out of West Falmouth, that's for sure. We had one project do that, and town's not going to be allowing the use of that boat ramp anymore for revetment projects, that's for sure.
I don't think I'd ever propose that ramp for a revetment project. Sorry.
You'd be surprised, John. Sand, you're going to work within the time of year restriction and work in the dry sand only. Yeah, I think really our question's more focused on like what are you doing to the dune? Why are you doing it to the dune, since the dune is fairly stable right now? So you're just bringing up that elevation.
We're bringing up that elevation. It really is that area that we're going, building the dune on is really just that flat, kind of that flat area that you see up there with its, kind of got a little bit of struggling beach grass, but it's certainly been planted. But I think bringing the elevation up so it's more contiguous with the higher part of the dune that's further north, I think is probably going to work better. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're tying in with that elevation of our cap, so that the water just doesn't flood in at that end.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Russell, does that agree with you? I know you and I were talking about that today. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's all I have. I mean, we knew this was coming, John. It ties in with the rest of the road project. I mean, I've been with you every step of the way as we've marched down that road, so.
Yeah.
We were eventually going to come to the end.
Well, I don't know. I got a feeling the town's going to have to work all this stuff back.
All right.
We'll see.
Great. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. Alyssa, do you have anything?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
First up, Steve. You're muted,
Steve, you're muted.
That's why my battery's running low. Okay. I don't have any additional questions. The site wasn't marked. We flagged 3 other projects for not being marked, but everybody understood where the project was, I'm sure. So that really wasn't the issue, but it's just technicality. I think this has to be done. I appreciate this community doing this work. I do. So I'm all for it.
Thank you, Steve. Ron Driscoll?
I think it's a great project. Honestly, details take a long time to put together. The question, how does this match up with the work that Falmouth did?
I will say that this is providing better flood protection than what the town is proposing. The town is really struggling with financially to try to make that work. We did talk about a concrete cap for that, but right now they really want to get the road open and get things repaired for now. But I think at some point, I think they will, as kind of alluded to Jen, I think they may be chasing the elevation that we're providing back south, because I think they're going to need it.
All right, so you're doing more work than Falmouth has done, and they're going to have to try and catch up if they want to keep the road open eventually. Part of the resiliency projects. All right, thank you. That's all.
Thanks, Ron. Ronnie?
Yeah, it's been an ongoing problem down there, that's for sure. Definitely needs to get done. I think you got a good plan in place. The town probably has to step it up, but definitely the funding's an issue there. But I've seen a lot of erosion down on their end in the past. So I think bringing the height up a little bit, if you could, on the north end's a good idea. So good luck with it.
Thanks, Ron. Dave?
Hey, John, can you tell me a little more about up there where the dune starts, the cement cap stops, right? And I guess the raised dune is going to help with flood. Is that correct?
That's correct. I should say there's a slight return. There's about a 10-foot return on the seawall cap that runs back along the edge of the parking lot. And so that's where the dune is going to connect in. So we don't have a weak spot. And so yeah, so the dune is going to be about 6 inches higher than the cap of the seawall.
Oh, will be even higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right at the revetment, or will it climb up to that as it goes further inland? It's not going to be that high right at the revetment, is it?
It's gonna be right up against at that point. It's gonna be right up against the cap at the end. So the cap wraps around at the end of the, So when you get to the north end of the parking area,
yeah,
the cap wraps back 10 feet to the east, and so that's where the dune is going to connect into that, that return on the cap.
Kind of acting like a retaining wall for it, kind of. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, so it's gonna hold the dune right up against the cap. There's going to have to be a grading up of about 6 inches pretty quickly there, but yeah, so the dune elevation can basically run right up against.
And I guess I'm still a little unclear on the overall reason to need to have that higher dune.
So what we're looking to do is, one of the things that we are trying to make sure of is that we're not creating a weak spot in the flood protection. So if everything is about the same elevation, we're in good shape. If we're going about 6 inches higher for dune, the dune is obviously much more erodible than the concrete cap. So we want to make sure we have a little bit of extra buffer there. A little bit of extra elevation buffer. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I? Okay. So just trying to get a little bit of extra volume and elevation buffer there so that we can make sure that we don't have to repair that dune constantly if we are getting more storms in the future as time goes on. So
it seems to me sand's not going to hold up very well to a storm. Is it going to just wash away?
Well, because that's on the north end, and most of the storms we get are from the south. It's much more likely to withstand the environment.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thanks, Dave. Bill?
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jim.
About, yes, John, about how long will this project take?
That's a really good question. So one of the things that we are in the process of is we need to get our permits in place, but this is something that they need to raise money for to make this happen. So the project certainly can be done easily in one season, but it's debatable whether they are going to be able to get all the money together to do all of this at once. So that's one of the things that we're going to, that they're going to have to deal with as far as finances go. But the scale of the project is easy to do within one season.
Yeah, having lived there the last 6 months, I can attest to it. Certainly is needed. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. All right. Jen, do we got enough to close this?
If the board doesn't have any additional questions, yes. I mean, all the questions from the staff were answered. Again, our main concerns, we've been doing this entire road length. Our main concerns were more what was going on with that dune area.
I think that's
so. Yeah, we're going to do one staircase wood. We'll reduce the path to 4 feet. They'll have to cut the Moby mat. We'll get it planted. And as far as the revetment and the sheet and go, I mean, again, we've done this entire length of road. This section does need to be done.
All right. What's your pleasure?
I
Make
move
a
to
motion to close.
Driscoll.
Duffy second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second to close it here and take it under advisement. Is there any more comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. Jen, anything in chat in regards to this?
Nothing in regards to this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So I'm going to call the roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Can't tie.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim?
Grath, aye.
And Robbins is an aye, so unanimous, the hearing is closed and take it under advisement.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. That's very helpful.
Yep.
All right,
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jeremy. Nice to see you both again.
Take care.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays.
You too.
All right. The next three in a row, they were all continued. So we're going to 436 Acapesca Road. Peter and Jennifer Heron, 436 Acapesca Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install a vinyl sheet pile. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am promoting Jake Fricky from Cape and Islands Engineering to present his projects.
Jake, good evening. Jake.
All right. Start my video. Here I am.
There you are, Jake.
There you are, Jake.
There you are.
Technology is it's our friend. Okay, so good evening. For the record, my name is Jake Fricky. I'm a professional land surveyor with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing Peter Heron for a project on Acapesca Road. We've filed a notice of intent application to repair an existing sheet pile bulkhead, a wood bulkhead, and we understand that a DEP number has not been issued, and we are hoping that you'll allow us to complete this presentation tonight, and then vote at a successive hearing once that number has been issued. Without additional representation from our office, this is a fairly straightforward project. We don't really expect a lot of issues here. And with your permission, I would like to share my screen.
Please do.
Okay, you should now be able to see my screen. This is a property. If you see this locust map on the southerly end of Acapesca Road, near where Minot Road crosses Green Pond, the plan here is north is to the left. So this is a developed parcel. The surrounding resources on this include land under the ocean and land containing shellfish of Green Pond itself. Then there is a salt marsh on the northerly end of the property, and then some additional salt marsh behind this sheet pile bulkhead and extending further south. And then there is a coastal bank. There's a riprap and then a bank above it leading to the upland portion of the lot. This also is in the flood zone AE15 and AE12, and the limb wall line is that the transition from AE15 to AE12. This is a 30,000-ish square foot property, which has an existing riprap and dock and bulkhead, and those items are currently in the process of being permitted through Chapter 91. They've been in existence for a long time, but the permit was never completed. That has been submitted to the state, and we're just waiting for final approval on that. Now what we're doing is we're proposing to remove and replace well, not remove, but to place some existing new vinyl in front of this existing timber retaining wall here. That timber retaining wall will remain in place because we feel like that is the least impactful thing to do, considering there is a substantial and healthy salt marsh directly behind that sheet pile wall. The existing bulkhead will be cut flush with the adjacent grade once the new vinyl is installed, and all gaps between the proposed bulkhead and the existing will be filled with clean, compatible sand. This bulkhead is in really poor condition, particularly in this area by the dock. The boards are failing. There's holes through it, and it is really it's going downhill fast. And the wall here provides a nice amount of protection to the upland portion of the lot, and the client is interested in retaining that protection. It also affords some protection to this piece of the salt marsh itself. I'll address the staff comments that we received. The first staff comment is related to what I alluded to, that the DEP number hasn't been issued. This project was unfortunately erroneously filed under Mashpee instead of Falmouth, and a Mashpee DEP number was issued, but since this is not in Mashpee, we're waiting for a corrected file number to be issued, and hopefully that will happen soon. Staff requests a pre-construction meeting to review the limit of work. That's totally expected and very reasonable in a situation like this. Staff requests non-CCA treated materials be used. We did note on our plan that non-leaching wood preservatives would be used, and obviously CCA is not going to be on the list of things that we're proposing for this project. And the last comment was in relation to the benefit of this work. The bulkhead is failing, and the client really wants to repair it and have it, look good and perform its function for a long time into the future. This bulkhead provides protection to the upland portion of the lot, but it also provides additional protection to this intervening salt marsh here. And there was a question of what would happen if the bulkhead was removed, and we believe that the salt marsh would erode away. There's no salt marsh on the north side of this dock here, and there is significant and healthy salt marsh behind the bulkhead, and so the bulkhead is really protecting that piece of salt marsh there. We believe that this project complies with the Falmouth Wetland Bylaw and is consistent with previously approved projects. At this point, I'll stop sharing my screen and be happy to answer any questions.
All right, Jake, thank you. Jen?
Jake, that bulkhead, does it go perpendicular, like under the dock from like the revetment up to where we can see on the plan the bulkhead?
No, it does not. It ends.
So it's open.
It ends where, it's open on the side, and so the sea flushes through there.
The sea flushes through there. Okay.
On the north side, right?
Correct. Yeah, under the dock.
Yeah.
Under the dock, and on the other side, does it connect to the revetment at all?
It doesn't connect to the revetment. I can share my screen again and give you a zoom in here.
Yeah, my context. It ends right, like halfway, let's say, to the revetment. It ends right here, and just sort of in the middle of the salt marsh once it gets high enough upland, and then mean high water extends out from there. Okay. Is it currently losing elevation, the salt marsh?
Over here, the salt marsh is eroding, and I think that's at least partially due to the holes which are punching through this portion of the bulkhead in this area.
And is there any plan in that area to plant salt marsh plugs to kind of help the salt marsh? If the idea is to protect the salt marsh, are we going to be adding some salt marsh plugs in that area to enhance the existing salt marsh?
That is not something that we're currently proposing, but I don't think the client would be opposed to it.
So it could be conditioned to enhance that area of salt marsh?
Yes, and I think that
they don't use that area currently, do they?
No, they don't. They don't use it. We have there's an RDA which has been approved to provide the required access steps on this side. There are no current access steps there, but for Chapter 91 requirements, a set of steps will be installed on the south side of the pier. But currently the access is all on the north side.
Okay. We usually don't see, I don't think I've ever seen a project that's like with, well, maybe one other one with a salt marsh behind an actual revetment.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see what DEP's technical comments were. Do you know if they had any technical comments when they issued the number erroneously to Mashpee?
I don't know. I think that they commented that that it needed to be addressed by Chapter 91, but it has been addressed at Chapter 91, and we're just waiting still.
Okay. Okay. Again, it's like you're kind of pinching that salt marsh in between this revetment, this revetment. We replace this bulkhead and this revetment. We replace the existing bulkhead. The water's still going to get behind there.
Yeah, I mean, no changes in elevation behind the bulkhead are, proposed or
Yeah.
being done. It's just the thing is falling down and it looks like hell. And the client just purchased the property and is looking to rectify the situation.
And I'm assuming if we remove it, it would erode away much faster because sea level is rising much faster. It's an
Definitely.
interesting one, Jake. It really is. And you're not raising the elevation of the top of that. It's going to be set at the same elevation it is right now. Forgive me if you've already stated that.
Let's see. Let's see. We're saying that the top of the wall is at elevation 2.2. The proposed wall is at 2.2.
Okay.
I don't know specifically. Raul did all of the design and engineering work on this. I don't know if it is the same. I assume it is similar.
Can you provide us that information while we wait for the DEP number? You can send us a quick email.
I take that back. It is taller.
Okay.
As you can see, you can't see my screen.
Not yet.
Let's see. Yeah. So this here, what you're seeing is the existing bulkhead cross section. It's the top of the existing is at elevation 1.5, and the proposed is at elevation 2.2. So it is 7 inches higher, 8 inches higher. And I
Why
think
is
that
it
is
higher,
to
Jake?
say that again.
Why is it higher? Why is it 6 to 7 inches higher?
To account for continued sea level rise. It's the current elevation. The extreme high tide is right at the top of the wall, and so the new design provides some resiliency against that overtopping.
Okay.
0.5. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jake.
Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Alyssa?
No comments, thank you.
Okay. Ron Driscoll.
No comments other than those are pretty scary set of stairs going down to the dock. Good luck with it. Thanks.
Ronnie.
No comment.
Dave.
All set.
Bill.
I'm all good.
Jim.
No comments.
Steve.
No comment. Thank you.
So Jim, we're looking at a continuance for the DMF and DEP.
Correct. We don't have DMF or DEP.
That's the date.
Jake, how long do you think it's going to take to get at least both of those in? 2 weeks? 1 week?
Yeah, I can't speak for the state of Massachusetts, but I can't I can't honestly imagine that they're particularly fast. I guess I would prefer it to be 2 weeks because I have a different hearing, which I will need to be attending then anyway. And I don't expect much discussion, but that makes sense to me.
Okay. So December 17th?
Yes.
Okay, you got it.
Hey, can I get a motion to continue until December 17th?
Yeah, I'm so moved, Driscoll.
Second, Duffy.
Thank you, Bill. We have a motion and a second to continue this hearing till December 17th. Any other comments or questions from the board? Jen, was there anything in the chat you need to be aware of?
Nothing in the chat regarding this project, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. So we have a motion and a second, and I'm going to go ahead and call the roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Pantai.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim?
McGrath, aye.
And Robbins is unanimous. Continue until December 17th. Thank you, Jake.
Certainly.
Thank you.
All right.
Night, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
I'm the next one also.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You are. Sorry.
All right. Marissa David Friedman, 26 Pleasant Bay Ave, Woods, for permission to construct an addition to install.
Mr. Chairman, can you repeat that? On my end, you were very, very garbly, and I'm not quite sure that was caught in the record.
Okay, the whole thing, you missed the whole.
Yeah, the
Please.
whole thing.
Marissa Wise and David Friedman, 26 Buzzards Bay Ave, Woods Hole, Mass, for permission to construct an addition and install mitigation plantings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Jake Fricky, Cape and Islands Engineering, continues to be with us this evening.
Once again, good evening. For the record, my name is Jake Fricky. I'm a professional land surveyor with Cape and Islands Engineering, and I'm representing Marissa and David Weiss and David Friedman for a project on Buzzards Bay Avenue in Falmouth in Woods Hole. We've filed notice of intent application, which does have a DEP file number 255118. To construct a small addition and install the associated mitigation plantings. And with your permission, Chairman, I would like to share my screen.
Please do.
All right. Which are you seeing my whole screen or just part of it?
Half of it, like part of it.
Just lost.
Yeah. Is that any better?
No.
No.
The top.
We're just seeing the north part of the compass.
Let's see. And now you can see my whole screen. All right, one more try here. What the hell? Okay. I think that is that's what we wanted. Sorry about that. So this is a project which is being proposed on a developed parcel along Buzzards Bay Avenue, just a few houses north of Quissit Ave. The surrounding resources include a bordering vegetated wetland just to the west off of the lot, a coastal bank that runs up the westerly half of the lot, and land subject to coastal storm flowage, which includes the AE13 and AE15 down here, and then the whole developed portion of the lot is in Zone X. This project is proposed on a parcel that it contains about 15,700 square feet. The existing development on the lot includes a dwelling and the associated walls, walkways, lawn, and a Title V septic system. And as I said, this is all on the easterly portion of the lot, as the westerly portion of the lot is entirely coastal bank. The proposed work is focused on the northerly side of the house, and it is to remove the existing small deck and storage unit which is attached to the building, and the rinse station, and some walls and steps, and to remove the concrete walkway out front, and then to install a new sort of reformatted addition and deck with rinse station and some hardscape walls on and steps in this vicinity here. We're showing a limit of work which encompasses this northerly portion of the lot and runs out into Spring Street and then around this way. We're also showing one dry well as required to catch the runoff from this new work here. This work results in an increase in impervious areas in the FWR 10.18A zone of 73 square feet, and a decrease in impervious areas in FWR B zone of 29 square feet. We're showing a 197 square feet of mitigation in this area here to compensate for that proposed work. This mitigation is landward of a former limit of work line from a 1995 order of conditions, which I'll zoom in a little bit so that you can see, which runs across the lot in this area. I will address the staff comments that we received on November 26th. There is a request to remove the 5th mitigation planting note, which is that the plants are to be maintained in good health and replaced as needed for 3 growing seasons. Obviously, the intent is that these plants are to be maintained in perpetuity, not just for 3 growing seasons. And that's we can do that on a revised plan. Staff also notes that the HVAC platform shown here, in addition to a freestanding AC unit, which is right here, were installed without conservation approval and will need to be mitigated for. We've prepared some calculations for these 2 items, and if we add in the additional square footage in the A and B zone associated with that, it brings the total required mitigation area up to 276 square feet from 197. This mitigation area can be partially fit in to the north of the existing proposed area here, and then the remainder of it tucked up into this corner right here. These locations are basically the only available places outside of 10 feet from the existing structures that are within the A zone on the lot. And those mitigation areas, that additional square footage and the AC unit here can be added to the updated plan as well. Staff has asked some questions about an existing privet hedge that exists up in this area, sort of underneath the bearing and distance line that's sort of out in the road and does come across the property line a little bit. It's about 13 feet long, and the intention is for that hedge to remain in its entirety through this project, as it provides a very nice privacy screen from the neighbors that are directly across Spring Street. That hedge again can be added to a final plan, but it is about right there. And the last comment is in relation to the clearing outside of this limit of work line here from the 1995 order of conditions. And the client does indeed have a raspberry garden, which is on the bank in this area. And we would just like to better understand staff's comment on that area and I would also like to note that the field crew located something in this area that they thought might have been grapes, but upon further discussion with the contractor and site visits, I think that that was actually porcelain berry and is not actually any kind of a development, and it's just got porcelain berry growing all over it, just like much of the rest of this slope going both north and south. We believe that this project complies with Falmouth wetland bylaw and is consistent with previously approved projects. While there are some minor changes that are required to this plan to meet staff comments, we hope that this hearing can be closed tonight with the understanding that an updated plan showing these changes, as noted, can be submitted prior to the vote. And if you would like, I have a draft copy of the plan which identifies that larger area of mitigation in these two zones and shows the actual location of that hedge. So without further ado, I will stop sharing my screen.
All right, thank you, Jake. Jen.
Yes, Jake, we met out there several months ago. It's a pretty tight site. So I'm kind of concerned where you're going to add the mitigation for that platform. I mean, we were struggling to find areas for mitigation for the proposed project. So we're going to have to go back out there and evaluate these new areas for mitigation. As far as more information on what we mean about the bank, I'm going to kick that over to Alyssa because she's the one that did the deep dive into this property. There's, you know the history of the project. The board does not, or the history of the property. So Alyssa can offer a little bit more insight on that. And I think that's all I have. How much more mitigation are you going to have to put in there for that platform?
The total increase is about 80 square feet.
In mitigation or 80 square feet? Yeah, in mitigation.
In mitigation, yeah.
Okay.
And it's 80 square feet on top of what was proposed. It goes from 197 to 276.
Okay, and we were struggling with the 197 to get it in there. So
as I indicated, I've got a sketch of it showing how I'm showing it if you want to see it.
I don't think it's necessary right now. We'll have to continue this so we can go out and evaluate those planting areas. Usually if it was just all lawn, I really wouldn't have an issue. We just add the mitigation on. But because this site, we were struggling so, it was difficult in the field, then we need to go back and evaluate it. But I'm going to kick your other question about more information about what we mean on the bank over to Alyssa, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Please do, Alyssa.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, Jake, we gave you all the information that we had on that. The board doesn't entirely know what I'm talking about at this moment, so during the interim, I can certainly send you over our previous plans. When the house was constructed in 95, there were some issues with the limit of work. There was a certain buffer that was to be maintained, and it didn't look like it was. We also have a record on file from an enforcement in 2015. We don't have a lot of information. I'm not sure where some of the Word documents went, but it referred to unpermitted clearing, again, behind the home. We also received a draft plan in the beginning of this year from the contractor when they were asking questions about the property, like can an addition actually be approved here? And that edge of clearing was very similar to the 90s edge of clearing. That's not what's being shown on the plan in front of you. It looks like that area is nearly completely invaded. It's just an herbaceous layer. So it doesn't appear that any trees or shrubs that are woody were ever installed in the area in accordance with the restoration that was required over the years. The staff has to kind of keep their hands tied on this where it was a requirement. It wasn't done. It should be done. At the end of the day, the area is entirely invaded. If they were to go in and replant it, conduct invasive species removal, it is entirely surrounded by more invasives. So it would be up to the commission if they would want to require that, and I can give you all the information to make that decision.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. Questions from the board? Let's start with Ronnie Borman.
It's definitely tight around there. I can see where Jen's going with the mitigation, but if you got something, Jake, that you think will fit in there, other than that, I think it's a go. If the staff's good.
Ron, thank you. Dave.
The big question to me seems to be that the area down the slope behind the house that was never acted on as it should have been years ago. I don't know if the commission should take that as a serious issue. I mean, the mitigation, the things Ryan just mentioned, that seems all doable. Everything, but that area there, it seems like a big question mark to me. I have no idea if we should take that seriously or not. Guys went down the hill. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know. It's years ago they didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? Guess I'll leave it there. I didn't really answer my question, but
It doesn't appear that they did, Dave.
I just wonder how seriously should we take that? That's a question for the commission.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Huh?
You said, Bill? I mean, Dave?
I guess, but I've left it with a question, haven't I?
Just to elaborate, the buffer is part of the order of conditions on the project. So if the property would ever like compliance, having that buffer intact was a condition. So that when we look at these, we just do a whole property review, try to figure out if there's been, any violations over the years, make sure we're not double counting things that we have in the past. So it's kind of just bringing this to light, and the commission can kind of determine, once I give you more information, perhaps going back out there, taking a look at it, what should be done with the area.
I guess I'll say one more thing. It seems like the issues around the current project are very doable. I mean, it's what they want to do, they can do. The mitigation they're going to propose, they can do that. I guess it's the old issue. I don't know if can we treat them separately? I mean, I don't see any reason to stop the project that they want to build.
Yep. I don't see why you couldn't take them separately.
It seems like it's very separate issues to me. I wouldn't want to stop the project, is my point.
Okay.
I'm definitely done.
Bill Duffy?
Yeah, I didn't know whether it was, I was actually going to suggest what Alyssa said, just getting a little bit more information on that, and then seeing a little bit more on the actual extra mitigation that Jake was talking about. I don't know, I think, he said he was back here in 2 weeks. It'd be worth continuing it till then, real quick, just so we could take a look, get a little bit more information. And then, if it turns out okay, it shouldn't be a long hearing. That'd be my sort of recommendation to this one.
All right.
I would agree with that.
All right, Jim. Steve.
Dave brings up some good points. The project itself seemed relatively straightforward. It's the historic that is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, the project itself is straightforward. You're right.
Ron Driscoll?
Yeah, I'm all set, thanks. I think everybody's covered it.
All right, so it sounds like continuance to me. So that staff can go out and evaluate the proposed mitigation. Jake, what's the 17th looking like, Jen? It sounds like that's getting full now, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
We have great stamina. She has big trust in us.
It's the last one before Christmas, so you got to make sure it's super exciting.
You're here already for it, right, Jake?
Oh, yes.
You get 3 that night.
No, I mean, we have to advertise the 17th tomorrow, and there's not much on the agenda, so.
Okay.
So I move that the request for the applicant, we have a continuance till 12/17. Driscoll.
I'll second that, Duffy.
Motion, to continue till the 17th. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Jen, is there anything in the chat?
Not pertaining to this project, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. I'm gonna go ahead and call a roll. Steve?
Van Nuys.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
I can't hear you, Bowman, aye.
Kent, aye.
Duffy, aye.
McGrath, aye.
So we're unanimous. I saw Ronnie put his thumb up. Okay. So Jake, we'll see you on the 17th.
Sounds good. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Nice night.
Hi, Jake.
Night, Jake.
Good night.
Next, we got request to amend an existing order of conditions. Michael Day Family, West Falmouth Trust, Falmouth, 17 Low Way, Falmouth, West Falmouth, Mass. Request to amend order of conditions for DEP 25-4774 to restore the coastal bank, remove an unpermitted retaining wall, and conduct invasive species removal and restoration. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, hang on. I accidentally promoted Mike up. Alyssa, can you move poor Mike back into attendees, please? Oh, wait, he's still in attendees. Why do I see him on our screen? Something happened.
I have no idea.
I don't know what just happened. I see Mike in.
I don't see Mike.
I see Mike in my
name.
I see his name, but then I see him in the attendees, and I can't see him in panelists.
I think we're good. I think he's in attendance.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just a
muted. He'll be
glitch.
fine.
Do you see Maria?
We see Maria. We see you, Tom.
We see
Can you hear me?
a screen. We hear you. We don't see
Oh,
you. I
good.
just see a background.
I know. Where am I?
We can hear you.
Oh, let's see.
Mr. Chairman, Tom Bunker, BSS Design, and Maria Hickey Landscapes Associates.
Very good, Tom.
Yep. Hello. As introduced, I'm Tom Bunker with BSS Design, professional land surveyor, and I have Maria Hickey here also. I'm her tech guy right now. I'll try to be her tech guy if I can find the drawing. One second here. That plan. Anyway, this is we're here to amend the order of conditions. This plan, the contractors went a little wild on the construction, and basically on the approved plan, the original plan, there was an area of coastal bank that was to remain intact with all the vegetation on it, but it did get cleared. Excessive clearing and grading was done on the site, and so now we are here. I'll show you the screen if I can share it. I can share it if you'll allow me to, and we'll show you. I'll put the screen up, and then I'll let Maria do the talking. How's that?
Sounds good.
Alrighty. I'm so disappointed my face is not on the screen.
Yeah, really.
Right? I mean, like I did my hair and makeup for nothing. Okay, well.
We're disappointed.
I know. Some of you already know me. For those of you that do not, I am Maria Hickey from Maria Hickey & Associates Landscapes. And I had the pleasure of working with Tom Bunker on this project. We are trying to bring the property into compliance and requesting your permission to do so. There's an area which we identified as what we call the red zone, which I don't know if you can see my clicker, I'm outlining it, but if you went out in the field, it's the area which includes where the contractor who was building the house cleared, and he was not supposed to. So we're asking for permission to go in and, first of all, reestablish the grade to what it originally was. He altered it, so we're going to fix that. And as staff has requested, and we're happy to do so, before any planting is done, we will have them come on site to verify the grades to make sure that we've done everything correctly. The areas shown in yellow on the plan are voluntary invasive species habitat restoration areas that we're asking for permission to include. And the reason why is in these yellow areas, there are locust trees. And for those of you that don't study trees for a living, the best way to describe a locust tree is a thug in the neighborhood. It has roots that will grow laterally just under the surface of the soil. And the roots will go as far as the height of the tree. So they can go up to 75, 100 feet. And along that root, you have trees that will pop up. They're called seedlings and grow into more trees. And the problem with locust trees is that they affix nitrogen into the soil. And it makes it an incompatible pH or soil mix for your native shrubs to grow. And therefore, especially when you have a project that you're trying to not just plant and grow native shrubs, you want them to thrive. You want to reestablish habitat value with flowering and berrying shrubs. And you don't want to have to keep planting everything every year because it can't survive all the nitrogen being affixed into the soil from the locust. So when you have locust trees, and they're not native, you want to remove them and their associated roots because we want to have our native shrubs not only survive, but we want them to thrive. And this isn't just an incompatible mix. And the locusts will take the nutrients out of the soil that your native shrubs need. They compete for sunlight, for water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This project borders, well, the property, there's a section of it that borders the Shining Sea bike path, and there are locusts on our client's land that if we do not remove them, we'll have an issue with those roots going onto the asphalt of the bike path and potentially causing it to buckle. Similar to the problem over on Oyster Pond and Elm Road, where you have bamboo doing the same thing. So I went and I met with Marty Pottle at the DPW per conservation's request to ask permission for us to remove and replace these areas bordering the bike path with native shrubs and restore that whole area. So it will prevent any damage to the bike path. And they were quite happy to hear about that. Jen and Alyssa, I did forward you the email that they sent to me. I don't know if they sent one to you, so I just wanted to cover my tracks in all aspects. Some of the other things that we need to do to bring the property into compliance is to remove a retaining wall that the builder installed. It shouldn't be there. That's coming out. We'll rectify the grade. There's a big section of Japanese knotweed that's in here, which is a very bad invasive vine that again will contaminate the area and keep spreading. So we're taking out what doesn't belong, taking out the associated stumps. We'll add new soil back in to provide essential nutrients for our shrubs to grow, and then we're going to replant the whole site. And it's not a paint by number, but as you can see on the planting plan, I have different shapes and symbols and colors, but we're adding in quite a few trees, lots of native shrubs. So I'm trying to create some vertical diversity with an understory. Right now, there's not an understory other than invasive really bad things. Like I said, the Japanese knotweed, bittersweet, porcelain berry, the typical types of things that you find on Cape Cod. And so we respectfully ask permission of the board to consider this worthwhile project and allow us to bring the property into compliance and do invasive species / habitat restoration of our voluntary areas as shown in yellow. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, Maria, thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
You stop sharing, I think.
No.
Thank you, Tom. I'm not good at my technology. I can't even get my face to show up on the screen. Sorry.
I'll take that down now. Okay, there.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going to need a progress plan during this. So when the bank is regraded to its original slope, Tom, you're going to have to go back out there and survey it before Maria starts planting so we can make sure that it's actually graded correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, we can also install grade stakes and mark them. And I actually have a laser, like it's an engineering tool. Tom knows what I'm talking about, that you can shoot the grade and it shows you, it goes beep, 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 beep. And then it, tells you where you're supposed to be.
Okay, well, Tom's going to go
I'd
back
love to
out
show
there.
you that. I love
Okay.
show and tell.
Great. But Tom's going to go out and do a plan before you start planting. So we can be doubly sure.
Yep.
Not with
You got
just
it.
beep, 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 that, the grades are correct. And then, Tom, can you put that plan back up?
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
Maria,
Yes.
where are you talking about on the state's property that you talked to that you talked to Martin about? What do you plan on doing on that slope?
Okay, so we're not touching anything on the slope, just the area where the yellow is. It's on our client's property. And just what the concern was, when I pull on the root of the locust, it may disrupt some of the soil. And if that's so, we'll, fix that and plant shrubs. And I'd be absolutely happy to have Jeremiah, Marty, and conservation staff out to show them if that happens.
So
I'm just trying to be preemptive.
No, I get it. So you're not, so just to clarify, you're not touching anything on the state property
Correct.
unless it's inadvertently damaged or compromised by the removal of the locust trees on your client's property.
Correct.
Tom,
Yes.
is that back lot line staked?
Not currently, I don't think.
Okay.
Actually,
So
I was out there today. They were staked.
Is
okay,
it?
we're gonna have to make sure that back lot line, Tom,
Yes.
is staked
Yeah.
before you go in. And so you're not gonna touch any of the locusts on that slope.
Correct.
Okay.
And
That's all,
and to
Mr.
add-
Chairman.
Yeah, and to add to that, Marty said if there was one that needed to be removed, there's a form on their site that they have to have a hearing if there's a tree on the town land. We already had that conversation. But he went out, we did a site visit. He didn't see anything that would be a problem.
Okay. I might have, so we spoke with Jeremiah
Yeah,
at 3:30 this afternoon, Maria.
yeah.
So we might have parks oversight when you're that close to that
Okay.
lot line.
Sure.
Okay.
Welcome it. Thank you. I'm sorry about
All
my
right.
dogs barking.
We don't hear it. Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
good.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jen. Alyssa,
No comments. Thank you.
all right. Commissioners, let's start with Dave this time. Dave Kent.
I just have one question for Maria. Maria, how do you remove the roots of the locust trees?
So it's a mechanical extraction. And when you lift the stump, and I would love if you want to come out and watch when we do it. It's pretty fascinating. It's kind of like lifting up pasta out of a pot when you've cooked it.
So they pull out with the stump?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
Interesting.
Dave, they're not deep in the soil. They're right there under the surface.
Oh, right. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how long they are.
Right.
Kind of
Well,
mind-boggling.
thanks. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Bill?
I got nothing. Just I like the lesson. I've got a lot of locusts on my property. I have the exact opposite. I love them. They're giant. Give me a lot of shade.
Right.
I don't know why anybody would want to remove them, but I get it. But that's cool. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Jim?
No questions, Chairman.
Steve?
Yeah, I agree with Bill and the locust. I heated my home for years with them, but those were ugly.
Ron?
All set. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ronnie?
Was the grade cut or are you adding to it? Are you adding or cutting the grade on the bank?
I believe it varies. You know, we're going to have all the grade stakes put in if you want to take a look before we get started.
No, as long as the staff's good. I was just wondering what.
Yeah, we're going to remove, there's a retaining wall that was put in. It's 1 story high. It's like one small block, like a 2-foot block.
Well presented, Maria.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. Jen, you need anything else, Jen, or are you satisfied with the?
No, we were only going to ask for continuance and an additional plan if Marie was going to be working on the state property, but she has assured us she will not be working on the state property. So I don't think we need any additional information at this time. Just know, Maria, regrade, get Tom out there to do it. And before you go near that back property line, make sure, Tom, that it's staked. And that we're going to have parks oversight out there for you. Okay? Just so you don't have to stop and call Martin and get him out there. So we already cleared that with Jeremiah and he's fine with that. So that'll be all written up in an order of conditions.
Martin's in trouble. I have his cell phone number. So I'll keep him in. If I could just add one thing real quick too, I just wanted to answer or speak to a couple of you guys had brought up things about loving the locust trees. They have the strongest wood on the village green and a bunch of houses around Falmouth that are real old. You'll find locust trees down in the basement actually holding the house up. But the problem is when we're trying to grow native shrubs, because they affix nitrogen into the soil, it's an incompatible soil, like it's burning the roots of the native shrubs. It's too much nitrogen. So that's the only reason why we have to remove them when we're needing to plant native shrubs, or you're chasing and going down a rabbit hole trying to keep something alive that can't survive.
Thank you, Maria. All right. Anything in the chat, Jen?
Nothing in the chat regarding this project, Mr. Chair.
So we got a motion to
make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Bowman, second.
No, you guys are going to close the hearing and take it under advisement, and then we will vote the order of conditions. But we did discuss a lot of the conditions that are going to be voted, so I can understand the confusion.
Man, easy. Fine. Nice job, Bill. You'll get it. You'll get it.
And I'll make sure that I have my camera working for December 17th, because I'll be with Jake at one of the hearings. So thank you all for your patience and appreciate your listening and taking into consideration this worthwhile project.
All right. Okay. So motion a second to close the hearing and take it under advisement by Bill. And do I have a second from Dave Kent? Is that who I heard?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to close the hearing and take it under advisement. We'll go ahead and call the roll.
Pat and I.
One.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
Breath, aye.
Aye, that's unanimous to close the hearing and take it under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Night,
much. and
Tom.
have a
Night,
great night.
Maria.
All right, next up, well, this one has actually been continued. 151 half has already been continued. Next is Anthony, is it Vini or Vinny?
Avini, I believe.
Vini, okay. Anthony Avini Jr. and Elaine Avini, 42 Squibnocket Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted reconstruction of a deck, upper deck, enlargement of the patio, installation of retaining features, and clearing within conservation jurisdiction.
I didn't hear you, Mr. Chair, but I can start explaining the project here.
One
Mike,
second,
want me to
Lisa.
try to bring him in?
Yeah, try to bring Mike in because he's appearing on my screen and promote to panelist.
He's coming.
Okay.
And I'll promote Mr. Avini as well.
Yeah, I think Mr. Avini wants to come in as well.
There we go. So we have opened this enforcement before, so the quorum is everyone except Jim. Let's see, I think we last spoke in October. As we noted, there was unpermitted work on the property, some expansions of hardscape, moving closer, some removal of vegetation. Staff has met with the property owner and Mike to discuss the concerns out there, and Mike has been working on a plan to address these. Staff has reviewed a draft plan, which I think, Mike, you're sharing tonight, to show the commission. We have received advice from town council that going forward enforcements of this magnitude, we are recommending to the commission when it comes time to close to require the filing of a notice of intent to allow us the ability to condition the work on properties like this. Though we certainly appreciate Mr. Vini working with us throughout the process. So what the staff is recommending at this time is to listen to Mike's presentation when he shows you the draft plan. With Mr. Avini's permission, we would recommend that the commission continue the hearing so you can go to the site, see what we're working with, and at the subsequent hearing, close it and require through an enforcement order that a notice of intent is filed to remedy the concerns. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Mike Borselli. For the record, I represent Anthony Avini. I'm going to share my screen and give you an update on where we are. What I'm sharing with you first. Oh, by the way, Tony Avini might want to speak. Is he in the audience, Jen?
No, I think we promoted him up. I just saw him.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Yeah, Mr. Avini's here, Mike.
Okay, good. What I'm sharing with you first is a plan that you reviewed and approved under an RDA that allowed for certain improvements to the property. I share this with you to give you a little reference. The existing house, existing deck, a low profile railroad tie wall that I'm tracing. You can see in red the top of the coastal bank. And there's a stairway down from a flat area that was, for the most part, bark mulch and maybe a few scattered flagstone. Some stairs coming around the house. This is a walkout, meaning the front yard, the basement level walks out at grade on the backside because the lot slopes. All of the lots along Squibnocket slope down, and most of them have a bulkhead, sheet pile bulkhead, and most of them have docks. So there's a coastal bank, and I've shown that in red. This house was built a long time ago before there were such rules as minimum setbacks from coastal banks. Construction commenced, and then something troubling happened. Work was done and outside spaces were expanded. By that I mean patios were built. This landscape timber wall became a stone wall and it shifted seaward. So I'm going to now share with you a plan with some color on it and existing conditions and some other colors that you're probably wondering what I'm even doing. But this is sort of preliminary concept to start to dialogue, with the goal being that we're going to file a notice of intent to cure the problems. So this is the current existing conditions plan, and I've got some reference points on here in red, which I've now highlighted and overlaid in green, was where that landscape railroad tie timber wall was. And I'm also showing with X's through it, because it needs to be removed, a new wall that went seaward of the old existing timber wall, and it was built out of stone. Beautiful wall, and you're going to see that in a minute. There were some changes made on the sides to improve the access stairs around both ends, this end and also this end. The deck was rebuilt and expanded. The orange part is highlighting a portion that was expanded beyond what existed, that I'm also showing with this double line in red. So the deck got bigger and closer, which it can't be closer because it's already closer. It was already closer than you would allow. So your regulations don't allow you to expand closer to the top of a coastal bank if you're already too close. There's a part of the deck over here that was expanded, this little rectangle. Now that didn't go closer, but it expanded, so it would have required mitigation. So I'm going to show you some photos now to give you some perspective. And I understand that I believe the goal is that we would ask for a continuance to the 17th, and at that meeting, after you've had a chance to see the site, we'd be instructed through the enforcement order to file a notice of intent to show the proposed remedies so that you could issue an order of conditions. So I'm going to show you the photos now. I've been delaying them because it's a shame. This is the patio, and this is the wall that got expanded. I'm going to show you the wall. Here's the wall. This is a stone wall. I'm assuming it's a veneered concrete wall. It has a railing on the top. This wall moves seaward, which you don't allow. This is another look at the patio. This railing that you just saw is at the top of that wall. For reference, the railroad tie wall was about where I'm tracing with the arrow prior to this work being done. This stairway in the deck up here is the part of the deck that I had shown highlighted in orange. You can see these stairs. Those are the stairs in that photo right there. So all of this patio, these stairs were expansions without permission. I have another view looking now from the other direction towards the stairs. And again, for reference, the old railroad tie wall was about where I'm tracing on this patio right here. So basically this was all expanded. This is unfortunate, and the owner is pretty reticent about it. Knows he, I don't know how else to say it, screwed up, and has to fix it. So the fixing is going to be to basically try to recreate back to where the old timber wall used to be. and remove all this. And it's going to have to be done by gaining access down these stairs. We might have to go around with a bobcat or a skid steer machine and remove this stuff a little bit at a time. We're going to have to go on the other side and do the same thing. It's going to be costly and time consuming and difficult to do. So what we're hoping to do, though, is salvage at least some of the work that could have been approved and could have been mitigated for. So as part of the analysis, we're going to inventory the current impervious surfaces and compare them to what the impervious surfaces used to be, because we had that previous survey that I showed you back when it was like this. And if we have an opportunity and there's some things that you could have approved if we provided mitigation, for instance, like this section of deck, perhaps some of the patio that used to be bark mulch, we're going to try to salvage some of those hardscapes. If not, they're going to get removed and reverted back to what they used to be, which was bark mulch. We're hopeful that we can keep this stairway in this part of the wall that was built, because that was basically built in the same general location as the original stairs. If you look in red, there was a set of stairs that came down like that, and these were basically straightened out. So we're hopeful we can keep that. But all of this wall, I didn't put X's over here, but there's more of it over here, has to come out. And all of this patio has to come out. It's just simply could never have been approved. So it's unfortunate this happened. My client is very upset and concerned and feels terribly about it, as you can imagine. And we're going to do our best to fix it. And I guess you folks are going to go out and take a look on your own. And we're going to then advance a plan to take care of it. There's no real way to sugarcoat any of it. This is it. It is what it is, as they say. And I'm going to try to do my best to try to help fix it. I'm happy to take questions.
Mike. Thank you, Mike. Jen.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. As Alyssa said, we have met with Mr. Avini and Mike to go over everything. If we can get whatever we can get permitted for Mr. Avini, we will do it. It might be tough, but we'll work with Mike to try to get something. So I spoke with Mike this afternoon. As Alyssa said, council has recommended having the enforcement remedied through notices of intent. So we've discussed a timeline. We'll continue this out for 2 weeks. You're not that busy on the 17th, as I previously said. This will give the commission time to go out and look at the site. If the commission thinks it might be helpful, Mike, would you be willing to share that draft plan with us that you just showed? So they have some sort of context when they go out there, or are you
happy to? For what it's worth, it's pretty rudimentary, but I can. Are you suggesting I give you some copies?
Yeah. If the board would find that helpful, I know you had expressed you're like, this is just my concept sketch, but it might help them orient themselves, since most of them haven't been to this site. Thank you.
I can probably drop them off tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And then 2 weeks gives the commission a chance to go out there so you know what you're voting on, and then we would vote and an enforcement order requiring Mr. Avini to file a notice of intent by a date certain, which Mike and I have also discussed that date certain. Are you still comfortable with the dates we discussed, Mike?
Yeah, I think we talked about filing a notice by January.
End of January. Yeah.
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 End of January, yeah.
Yeah. You said middle of January was too tight for you.
Yeah.
So end of January. So that's what we have for the commission at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks. Alyssa, do you have anything?
Nothing else to add. Thank you.
We'll go to commissioners' questions, comments. We'll start with Bill this time.
Yeah, I actually had one, and it's more procedural, Jen. Normally, when we get an NOI, we go out and see. Why? So do we have to complete the enforcement for that? Because then once the notice of intent's out, it's usually go back to the site and see again. So I don't know if we go out once, we don't have to, probably not going to have to go back out for the NOI. This is sort of just procedural.
Yeah, it's procedural. I don't
Okay.
want the board to vote an enforcement order without seeing the site. So I don't think it's fair to the commission. I don't think it's fair to the property owner for you to vote an enforcement order without seeing the site. Like I said, I did talk to council. These are pretty egregious violations of your regs. So her recommendation and how she would like the board to proceed is to issue an enforcement order requiring a notice of intent by a date certain. And then we proceed as we normally do on a notice of intent, because then you're going to see the changes that Mike is going to propose, what may be able to be kept, what can be mitigated for. There is a lot that happened on this site. I don't know what we're going to be able to do, but if we can permit it, we will recommend it being permitted to the commission.
It's in the back of my head. I was like, why don't we just start with the notice of intent now, since we already know that we're going to fix this with the notice of intent. So, like I said, it's procedural. So that was sort of, we still learning what's going on here. So.
You've got one right now before you, 58 Westwood. They preemptively filed a notice to fix it, so we're in the middle of both those hearings. But the property owner chose to do that, knowing it was going to be required anyway. We were just kind of feeling these out on how council wanted them done.
All set, Bill? Okay. Jim?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Steve?
No questions, thank you.
Ron?
All set. No thanks. No questions. Thanks.
Ronnie?
I'm good.
Dave?
I'm all set.
All right. So, obviously we're going to continue this. Yeah, I want to go out and see it myself, so I'll hold any comments I have. So,
I make a motion to continue this hearing to 12/17, so we can all see the property.
thank you, Ron.
Copy second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to continue this hearing until the 17th. Is that correct, Jen? 17th, right?
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
17th. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. I'm sorry, Mr. Avini, did you have something to say? I don't, before we take the vote here, you kind of see where it's going, right?
Yeah, and I was kind of expecting that. I mean, I made a mistake, a very large mistake, and I regret it. And we're going to do what we can to correct it. So, thank you for your time.
Appreciate your cooperation. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to call the roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Anti.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim?
McGrath, aye.
And Robbins is a aye, so that's unanimous to continue until December 17th. Thank you, Mike. And
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avini.
Thank you.
All right, next is Stephen Augusta, 33 Oyster Shell Lane, East Falmouth, Mass. unpermitted removal of mitigation plantings, and unpermitted installation of landscape within conservation jurisdiction. Jen, who do we got on this?
Well, it could be either myself or Alyssa. I guess I'll jump in. Board's heard this. Oh, wait.
Because this has been going on so long and Courtney didn't show up tonight, we don't have a quorum. I thought he was going to be late, but he never came.
So did I.
So I'm sorry to say.
Okay, Mike, we're gonna have to move this for you.
Who is on the quorum, Jen?
It's Courtney, Russ, Steve, and we asked Ron to read in because he only missed one of the hearings.
Okay.
Oh, that's a problem.
So I'm
So
sorry
we'll
about
have
that.
to continue this out. One. Mike, you want 1 week or 2?
Well, there's not a lot to really say, so 1 week, I mean, we
Okay.
know.
I'm just
if
giving you
don't-
yeah.
Yeah, and then we can't speak at all about anything because we don't have,
No.
yeah, just push it out a week then.
1 week. Okay. We'll continue this.
Sorry, Mike, thanks.
Sorry, Michael, thanks. So, Mr. Chairman, we'll have to continue this out till December 10th.
If I had waited all night for this, I would be a bit upset, but since I was just
I'd be
on,
upset with Courtney.
You would have been cross with this, would you, Mike?
All right.
All right, make a motion to continue this hearing to 12:10 to procedural situation. Driscoll.
Thank you, Ron.
Second, Duffy.
Thank you. Dr. Bill. All right, no other comments or questions because there is none. I'll call the roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, aye.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Tim? And Robbins is an aye to continue. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, Mike.
Night.
All right. Then next up is Dave and Marcy Bonds, 38 Squibnocket Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of retaining walls, steps, a patio, replacement of decking, and alteration of a coastal bank. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm attempting to. So Dave, Mr. Barnes will be joining us shortly. We'll wait until he is in.
Okay, I see him.
Okay.
How's
Mr.
everybody
Barnes.
doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, just very, very similar to 42 Squibnocket. There were several retaining features, patios, fire pit constructed on this property, and it's similar to the last one you saw. Much of that is moving closer. It would not have been, it simply would not have been permittable under your regulations. I believe, and Mr. Barnes can confirm, he has had some difficulty retaining a engineer. Mr. Barnes, you have indicated that you have contracted with Farland Corp, and they'll be coming out to the site shortly to do a survey. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sent you an email on that.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Just wanted to clarify that for the board. So like, unfortunately, we don't have the survey for the board to review now, but Bill, this is one of those cases where it's most likely going to be reviewed under that notice of intent process. So again, similar to 42, as your council has recommended, when the board issues, or if you issue an enforcement order, it would be to file a notice of intent for corrective action by a date certain.
Yeah. Could I speak for myself, please, Jen?
Yep. 1 second, Mr. Barnes. So the recommendation would be continue it out 2 weeks. The board goes to see the site so that you're not voting in a vacuum. And then we proceed from there. That's all I have for right now, Mr. Chairman.
Alyssa, did you have anything? And then I'm going to go to you, Mr. Barnes.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Barnes, you got the floor.
Okay. And I can share my screen, I suppose.
Yep.
All right, folks. I'll just, I'm new to this. I don't go through this a lot. I'm not a waterfront property owner. Before we bought this house in 2018. And this is what we bought at that time. Okay. I can tell you that many of my neighbors are going through your process here. I can tell you that, well, let's just look at, and I sent all this to Miss Lincoln. And I've talked to Miss Lincoln, and she's come out to the house and told me some things. We bought this property with this serious problem down here. That bulkhead was existing. This was how it was existing. You can see the trees so that middle tree fell in the water. Okay. And that's what prompted me to use a contractor that my neighbor was using. All of these houses were built in the 90s with those timber walls there that are retaining walls. I bought the house looking at and saying, yep, those need to be replaced. They were leaning and rotten. And so all of our neighbors have these walls. It's a steep slope from our house, and the walls, serve to help erosion, as we know. And although this issue here, and let me just pan down here, you can see here, and this is actually from realtor.com, so you can go on there and see it. I'm not making this up. So as my mouse moves across here, you can see how much erosion was going on there, and that this issue was serious. You can see my mouse is moving across the line of a retaining wall right there. This one was back further. What we did is we replaced these walls with one consistent one going all the way across. And then naturally we would, in my mind, very naturally, we would just raise it up higher and put a patio in so we can have a place to sit in our backyard. And all of our neighbors kind of that's the thought. Okay. So, there was no malice and any intent here, and there was no understanding that, this was some terrible thing. I can tell you I spent $250,000 on this. And, I can't imagine any of you care about that from what I've been hearing too much. But I'm a little hot because when I talked to Jen, she came out and basically she said, look, all this is going to go. I said, well, what if I don't have the money to make it go and do it all again? She said, we don't really care. Basically, we'll sue you. And we'll sue you right away. And I said, there's a planting season coming up and that needs to happen by then. And there was other, just back and forth. It's been not friendly. So I started off with a long-winded email about how I want to work. I'm sorry about this stuff, all this stuff. And I was told that I'd get worked with. Yeah, we'll work with you and we'll help you. Comes out to the site, looks at it, takes a picture beside a wall. The wall that I'm telling you about, it's about, I don't know how tall Miss Lincoln is, but this thing is over 4 or 5 feet. And then goes out, it doesn't say anything, calls the building department, and they're coming after me. And I'm in hearings down there. So that's not my impression of working with me. I know you folks have your rules and you're not going to bend them and all this and that, but several of my neighbors are going through things. We're not millionaires over here. This isn't the waterfront property people that have endless money. None of us are. We're blue collar, hardworking people. And this is going to drain all my funds. So I just want to start by saying I have been communicating preemptively, consistently since I got this letter. And I have been trying to get surveyors to come out to the house. Nobody really seems to want this type of business around town. I couldn't get Mr. Borselli to even return my call, and I hope he's not on the screen or whatever. But and not just him to point him out, but it was company after company after company. So I'm down in Fall River, and I finally got somebody. I think they're coming out, but they tell me that they won't email me; they'll just show up. So I'm going to spend the $4,000 to get a site survey to show you guys exactly what happened. I understand, you have your rules, but this whole process feels very punitive. And I felt the whole time like I'm some type of criminal, and it's going to drain all my family's savings. And I don't know if that means anything to you all, but it's a really bad position that I'm in, and I'm more vocal than my neighbors, I think. And so I just wanted to let you know the situation of the homes here and the retaining wall issue. And I recognize, we should have gone through the process to come through you all. I did not know that. I talked to a contractor that was used down the road and came over and explained to me that this is something we can do. And when that tree fell in the water, I had an emergency operation to take the tree out. And I said, let's go do this. And we did it. And so I don't apologize for it because I didn't know. And hopefully you folks can help me in a financial sense, because I'm not sure. I don't know how I would afford to do what Jen wants me to do is, hey, there's a planting season in the spring, and I don't really care if you don't have $250,000. Tear it down and put it back together is tough. So that's my piece, and I'll shut up now.
All right. So Jen, anything else?
Fallon Queenie, the conservation agent, was with me on the site and witnessed and heard the entire conversation. I think Mr. Barnes is a little upset. I merely explained the process, and the process does ask, this is what the process is. He asked me if he could not meet the timelines given by the commission. I said if those timelines weren't met, that the matter would be turned over to our town council. And that the town council would then, basically compel Mr. Barnes to comply with that enforcement order.
So I'll just say
the wall is over my head. I do work for the town of Falmouth, and we did inform, as Miss Queenie witnessed, that we informed Mr. Barnes that we were going to have to inform the building department. It is a structure. And so that's what we did. We took the picture, we informed the building department. He's working with the building department then. That is how the conversation goes. It's unfortunate that Mr. Barnes is painting it in a much more aggressive manner, but that is not how it went down. So, Mr. Chairman, I would suggest, again, similar to 42 Squibnocket, that the board go out to the site, review it, and then we're going to have to proceed with an enforcement order, if the board chooses, to file a notice of intent to take corrective action. It's unfortunate, but several properties along Squibnocket have done work that simply cannot be permitted under your regulations, and you cannot allow it to remain. That is all.
Yeah, one of the big tragedies here is that, again, you can't claim ignorance of the law, but you got a contractor that does work on the Cape. He shows up. I mean, that's the part that I'm frustrated with. Is
hey, Mr. Robbins, I tried to sue this guy, okay, and I can't sue him because I could try, and I paid $5,000 to start. And then I find out there's an LLC game where they just pull the money out of the LLC, and you end up winning the lawsuit, but you don't get any money. And, this guy's not on the hook for anything. And that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. So look, I know it's spilt milk, and I'm crying a little bit here.
We have permission. We would like to get permission to go on your property. I mean,
I've been open since day one. I opened with Miss Lincoln and Fallon with open arms. But I'll say that it wasn't, some we're working with you type of thing at all. And that's unfortunate. So that's what's got me in a different disposition, is that I don't want to feel like some criminal in front of y'all, in front of my neighbors. I mean, I feel like, we're all residents of Falmouth. You trust me when I tell you my neighbors care about the environment. We care about the waterway. We care about the animal life. We love it. We're not trying to hurt anything. I am struggling. I did ask Miss Lincoln, exactly how we are negatively affecting the environment in this way. So, and I got, hey, the rules are the rules. She said, Dave, I get that question all the time, and the rules are the rules. Well, in a sense that why don't, in the spirit of what we're trying to do here to help the environment, the stormwater runoff, I understand, but like, is there flooding an issue in the ocean that I'm just trying to connect the dots in my head by saying you're going to punitively, financially damage all of these people. And if we go up the river, I can tell you every one of my neighbors has a patio closer than mine. One has a swimming pool on the edge of the thing. And I understand it was before this and that, but you can see how it would lead somebody to understand that, hey, this is not something that's, this is crazy. My wife's horrified. She says every single one of these houses has a patio closer than ours to the water. We went out a couple of feet and fixed something was failing. And it's going to be like, nope, the rules are 50 feet. You went 48, and therefore it's $250,000 to you. I mean, if we look at this in a common sense perspective, it's real hard to swallow, folks.
Well, let us have a look at it, okay? I mean, the commission has not looked at this, okay? We trust staff. Staff works pretty damn hard, and we do work with people. I kind of take exception to that because I know I've seen what happens, okay? Been involved with it for a long time. And again, we try to work with people if they're willing to work with us. So let us get.
Will you come to my house anytime, sir? Anytime.
All right. Fair enough. So we need to continue this, and we're going to need a plan at some point. Mr. Bonds, you know if you can push that company from Fall River?
Yeah, they're supposed to. He told me he'll be out on the week of the 8th, which is next week. And he just said, I'm just going to show up. And so I guess I'll get a plan at that point. And then I do have another, it's a friend of the family who's going to help me overlay. He says he can do an overlay for you all. And I guess that takes one plan and puts it over the other one. And so you can see what the differences are in a 2D sense. So we'll get that done. I'm going, I'm trying to do it as fast as I can.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. So Jen, what's the calendar look like to extend this to continue? And then so everybody can get a look at this, go down and take a look at it. I mean, we could probably hit both of them while you're down there, 38.
Yeah.
Are you living there year round, Mr. Bonds?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think my neighbor on my other side is going through this too. So maybe you could do a 3-fer, or maybe there's more. I don't know.
What do you got, Jen?
Yeah, 17th is fine, Mr. Chairman. You're not that busy.
All right. I hit a 17th a lot tonight. I got a feeling it's going to be busy.
I know, it seems.
Just keep that. All right.
You're fine.
Can I get a motion to you? Are you good, Mr. Bonds, at this point?
Yes, sir. Thank you for hearing me.
Out there and look, and then that plan is going to be essential to the next hearing. So,
right.
Something rolling anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion to continue this enforcement order until 12/17.
Thank you, Ron.
I'll second that, Duffy.
Okay. Any comments? Anyone, before we continue this, anyone got anything to say? Anyone else?
I can, if the board wants, I can pull up a quick near map, kind of show you.
Ready to vote.
Oh, okay. Steve's ready to vote.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, so the commission's all set. Let's go ahead and call a roll. Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron?
Still aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, aye.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Jim? And Robbins is an aye. So we're continued until December 17th, Mr. Bonds. And you'll be seeing us around, so. All right. Really good. Anyone else got anything else tonight they can say?
Driscoll.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we're looking for a volunteer to work with the Community Preservation Committee, a volunteer from this board. So I figure the new guys are the most likely to have a chance at. But it's an exciting opportunity, and if you'd like to hear more about it between now and next week, we don't have to formally vote on it. You can simply volunteer, I believe. So if you're interested, I serve on it from another organization.
And I served on it too. It's actually a really good committee. You still meeting just once a month, Steve?
Pretty much, except when the applications come in. You get to give away money.
I know. Nobody's mad at you then. Thanks, Steve.
Steve, are you willing to talk with anybody? So if one of the commissioners wants to
Anytime.
give you a call
Anytime.
and chat, we can give them your note. I think you guys all have the contact information, but we have permission to give your number out to your fellow commissioners if they choose to
If you happen to
contact us
come up,
about.
if you happen to come up and take a look at Falmouthport, you can come over, have a coffee.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, so I need one more motion tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn in a second. Robin, bye.
Duffy,
All
aye.
right.
I want to keep going, guys. Come on.
Come on, 3:31. It's young.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.